Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. We got started this morning and we played the intro and it shut down on me. I had to start it all over again, but that's okay. It had a little hiccup. It had a little hiccup, but I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheen out of Atlanta, and ladies are always first. So this is my sister from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Zamari. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning? Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh,
I'm good. Glad to be here. Sorry I missed the last 2 days, but I'm here.
it's good to have you back, sis. Good to have you back. Badger.
Morning and
Good morning.
blessings.
How you doing this morning?
Another beautiful day.
Good deal. Good deal. Now watch this. See, we had Zamara. She said what she said, and then Badger he said what he said. Now Badger, watch this. I'm gonna go to my brother right here and watch. He gonna show you how to have the energy when you say, "Watch this." Ryan. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
What up, though?
There you go. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? The energy. Energy. See, I feed off the energy. See, Badger. Good morning. How y'all doing this morning? And then I go on, hey, what up, though? And then God almighty, that's all right. That's all right there. Listen, we had a conversation we started yesterday. We're going to wait till a few other people get back in here. We're going to continue that conversation. So we're going to talk about a few other things right now. So basically, I'm going to go to Ryan. Ryan, what's going on, brother? How's everything going with you, man?
Could be better. Supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
on vacation at work, but
Mm-hmm.
pop off on vacation, and then people want to play games. Had two people call out, so I'm expecting to get called back to work off my vacation.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it seems to be a trend. The last time I went on vacation at work, uh, someone got injured. A few people called out. I ended up having to cancel my vacation. Not even halfway through.
Good Lord.
So, yeah.
Now, what would they do if you would have taken this time with the family to go out of town?
They'd be in some serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else in the facility knows how to run my end of the warehouse. So not even my boss knows how to run that side of the facility.
Well,
It's
well,
kind of sad.
you need to be his boss then.
That's the truth.
I mean, if he don't know how to do the job, you need to be his boss. It seemed to me like the person that know how to do the work should be the boss.
That would be common sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the kind of thing that that's the way I thought it was. Like, I I wouldn't, and I'm not trying to say I'm the boss or anything like that, but anywhere in the world that I would be here and not know how to do the things that we do on a daily basis, and see that I'm the boss and I don't know how to do it, and somebody call out and the whole operation got to shut down because I don't, I don't know what to do. Doesn't make excuse me. I knew that
But
sneeze was coming. Thank you. Doesn't make sense to me. Badger, what do you say to that? It seems like the person that know how to do the work should be the boss, right?
Yeah, but a lot of times they want to abuse those people and would rather hire someone with a piece of paper that don't really know much,
Mm.
don't have the experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But everything's part of that twisted system. That's all I got to say.
And Jamal, a lot of stuff is being said on here about the system and the system being twisted, the system being warped and stuff like that. What can we do? What do we need to do as a community, as a body of people, everybody together, collectively come together? How do we fix this quote unquote warp system?
I don't know. I have
What
no clue,
what I,
dude.
look, I was waiting on this great big ounce. I was waiting on this great comeback, this great, and man, I don't know, man.
It's like it's like I've said before, right? Like when we've had these sorts of talks, when we were talking about child support. As a matter of fact, I think it came up then with not. I don't even remember if it was child support. I don't even remember what the heck I think it was with custody. It was more
Mhm.
specifically custody. You have to tear the whole system down and rebuild it, and you have to rebuild it with all of these intricate situations and details in mind. And sometimes that's just really impossible. So we have this very basic system put in place to try to cover all of that. And then we have all of these amendments and different things that kind of come along after the fact, right? Because they got that one person that breaks the mold or does this or does that. And so they're, in a sense, breaking down the system and rebuilding it brick by brick. It just takes a lot of time. It might be another 100 years before we see those changes really go into full effect. And then by that time, 100 years from now, there's going to be other problems, or albeit might be similar, the same ones repeating themselves over and over again. And they're going to constantly continue to try to change and build and do all of this stuff to make it what they think it should be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and like my husband said, that's why they're considered living documents, because they're ever evolving and changing like that. That's the only way you can do it. There is no other way to do it, because if we were to, let's say today, just completely tear down the entire system, go, oh, we're scrapping it all, there'd be absolute chaos. You can't do that. You have to do it brick by brick.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a better answer?
It is. It is. But Ryan, let me ask you this: if we don't stick with that mindset of building it or turn it down brick by brick, we could tear it down 10 bricks. 10 of the issues are gone. They're going to replace those 10 bricks with something else. And so it could, if we're not real careful, be very strategic in the way that it's done. It'll be a revolving door. It'll be a revolving door where you'll continue, you'll just be going in circles. You'll be like that hamster in that wheel inside the cage, just running in place as fast and hard as you can, but actually absolutely going nowhere.
That's true. But you know, again, it's why they're living documents. You can add to and take away from.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a job to maintain those documents. Just like the populace is an ever-changing animal, if you will. It's always evolving or devolving in some cases. There's always something going on, whether it's positive or negative, excuse me, and it needs to have a similar documentation system of laws and bylaws that change and evolve or devolve with it. You know, you can't control society, can't control people as much as we try. They're going to try to control us, but it's not going to be in a good way for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Progressively get worse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Badger, what do you think has to happen? How do we get rid of the war corrupt system and rebuild it brick by brick with a new and a better system?
Something like V for Vendetta needs to happen.
Say it one more time.
V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie.
Yeah, I know the movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It like everything just in the last 8 years. You know, we got businessmen that got elected, showed us how corrupt the tax system and all that kind of stuff is. And then we got the next president that showed us how scripted everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them is worth a darn, aside from showing us how twisted and corrupted things are.
Is the president the answer?
No. Replacing the entire House and Senate is a better start.
Mm-hmm.
The president's a face. The president ain't got no power no more. They're very limited. Yeah, they can do an executive order, but that executive order can be thrown out just by the House and the Senate overriding.
Could we exist without Ryan, I'm throwing this question at you. Could we truly exist if we even did not have a president? We had all the other congressional parties in place. Could we exist without a president?
I don't think so. I think we have a better chance existing without parties. Parties are the downfall of this nation, and that's something that the founding fathers made very clear back in the day.
Let me jump in. Would that be giving the president too much power if there wasn't if there wasn't parties or congressional parties to that he had to go through certain steps in order to get things done? Would that give him too much power? Could that make him into what some people say is a dictator?
There's always that potential, even with House, Congress, and the Senate. There's still that potential. I think that it's kind of like at work. I have so much red tape I have to go through to make things better for the rest of the people in the warehouse by getting rid of people that are tardy or call in all the time or don't do as much production as everybody else. There's so much red tape to get rid of somebody who doesn't deserve to be there or want to be there in most cases. And these two party systems, they fight against each other when they're supposed to be working together for us.
Yeah, exactly.
And all they do is sow division. And I think as a people, as a collective, when you're one person trying to do something and you have an entire nation of people looking at you sideways when you make the wrong decision, it has a little more effect. You don't have to go through as much red tape. But I could be wrong.
How could everybody? I was Zamara was still here. I wanted to throw this question to her, but she stepped away for a second. But how could okay, she's there. There's a hand. How could one party, if you had just one party, is it possible for them to satisfy everybody, to make everybody happy, to put something that's beneficial for everybody? Or would some people fall in increases in the gaps and not be happy or satisfied with what is being done? Zamari, could one party satisfy everybody?
No, I don't think so. I think it would be better if we had one party. I think it would be better if we had just a group of people without affiliations, without political agendas. Take all of that out of the mix, and we just have this group of people in a room together who are doing the best that they can for the people, not for themselves, not for a paycheck. You know, I think it would change a lot of things. I think it would have the potential to change a lot of things if we did just wipe it out, wipe the political parties out, get rid of all the stupid agendas and this and that and everything. However, the problem with that would be there would still be parties within that party regardless. There would still be different factions and groups because they're not going to always agree, which is really what is already happening. And I think Democratic, Republican, Independent, I think it's really all a facade. And they just pick and choose a side, and they pick certain things that they want to represent, that they're for or they're against. And so because they're for this and they're against this, then they're on this side. They're for this and against this, then they're on this side. Instead of just being people in a room doing what is best for the populace, not for themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's really about them. It's not about the people.
Yeah. And see, and that's the sad part right there, because like I think Ryan said earlier, they're supposed to be for the people. They're elected, they're put in office for the people. And so my thing is, once it's discovered that they are not whoever it is for the people, they need to be voted out. You have a process of voting them in. You also have a process of voting them out. And so once it's discovered that you for your own personal gain or something like this, you need to go. You've looked the vision as to what this position really holds and what's the responsibility that goes along with this. They need to be going. Like I said, I don't care whether that's Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, chicken, cat, dog, or squirrel. It doesn't matter. They need to be gone. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem.
Leonard, we're going, this is Way Out Wednesday. We're going to visit what we talked about yesterday along with other things as well. But right now we're talking about the president, how much power the president have, or should the president have, I think you was listening to us a little bit earlier. Were you listening to us earlier?
I just joined.
Okay. Well, about the president, how much power should he have, or do he have, or should he be placed in a situation where he could make all the decisions, give the parties, and just let the president lead the country? And if that were to happen, would that, or could that put him in a position or a situation where he become, quote unquote, a dictator?
Well, the focus on the president is a little bit misleading.
Mm-hmm.
We have the system called the checks and balances. The president does have some powers, and he has a lot of influence.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important that that power be checked by another branch.
Mm-hmm.
And basic government, where legislative, judicial, executive, and the checks and balances we can always improve on. Say, for instance, those things that keep work from getting done.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard a lot of art about the filibuster. So that's what it is. It's a strategy to slow down or stop a particular type of move by the Congress and the opposing parties that may oppose each other. The thing that we must always have is communication.
Mm-hmm.
There are people here with differences that justify different interests. And it's no such thing to have a government where there isn't going to be any problems. All those people who believe that are delusional.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you have government, because there are so many differences. And the government signifies an effort to work together, not just an effort to work together, but a guideline to work together that we call the Constitution.
But a lot of times when you have these different parties, they're not trying to work together. They're trying to, one is trying to oppose the other, and the other one's trying to oppose the one that the one just opposed them is trying to oppose. And that was complicated there. But my thing is, communication is important, but they're not communicating. So when I say that, I mean, example, the Republicans and the Democrats, they're on two different sides of the fence. They're not trying to communicate with each other. They're not trying to communicate with each other to make what's best for the people. This party want to do this, and this party want to oppose that, and they're gonna fight that stance along those lines. So even with that, there's a lack of communication.
There's not a lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not in the loop.
So you think they're communicating with each other?
All day is communicating.
Mm.
You can turn on C-SPAN and anything anytime you want to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The constant, if you are tapped into the like, say for instance, just pick the legislature in your state and subscribe to that information.
Let me say this.
Get in the know what's going on.
Let me say this, because maybe my delivery was a little warped. Effective communication in working together and trying to accomplish the same goal for the people. Do you think that's happening?
That's really your opinion, and it's misguided because you believe that everyone should be united when they're just not.
Well, they should be. But they should be, because if they're saying for the people, if they're for the people, shouldn't they have the common goal, right? What they feel is for the people. Maybe I'm off here.
For the people is a great slogan. However, what people are you talking about?
Good point.
This is the people think, if you sit up and just watch the news all day,
mm-hmm.
you're not into government.
Mm-hmm.
You're not interested in what's really going on in government. You're interested in what that outlet is showing you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go back and read the bills and watch the meetings and all these types of things and listen to why people oppose one another, then you'll understand better. as opposed to looking and saying they ought to do it this way, they ought to do it that way. It's easy to do that. But when you're elected, you have different responsibilities. And when you say for the good of the people, you need to clarify people, because we the people didn't even used to include people my color.
Okay.
So one, when you have to understand what people are you talking about, and if you've seen the last election, we had an excellent candidate for everybody, business, people, and everything here in Georgia. But at least 50% of the state didn't want that. That's why there's division. Not because somebody else wants it. It's because you all don't think alike.
So that goes,
you all don't want the same thing.
That goes back to my other another question I have. We can pull some more people into this conversation, because I don't want it to be a Raheem Leonard tennis match. But my thing is this right here. Will there ever be a party, any party off the board, that will get it right for everybody?
I think there's parties that are doing the parties doing the best it can. See, this notion that everything is going to be okay or everything is going to be one way is irrational. We have to then work on another ideal, what's best for the majority of people. That's the whole goal of this democratic thing, is that everyone has the opportunity to put in input through the vote. You can participate in any interest groups that you can even become a politician if you would like. You don't get that opportunity in other countries with other types of government.
Watch this. Would you vote for me, Leonard?
For what office?
Oh, it doesn't matter. You voting for me. Would you vote for me?
Oh, it matters to me.
That's what's on your heart. That joke. Look at. I can't look. I can't even count on your vote, man. I see already. I can't even count on your vote.
He's really low.
Huh?
Want me to vote for you?
Say it again. I'm bad.
Ryan and Z, is he low to y'all too?
Yeah, he's low.
Yeah, he's a little low.
Yeah, he's low for us. I only caught like half of what he said. Yeah, Leonard.
Oh, okay. He might not be talking directly to his phone and seeing Leonard know better.
There's a lot of people that I like, but I may not vote for them because they may not have the skills necessary to do what needs to be done.
Okay. Well, I can accept that. At least you say you like me. I guess I had to accept that one.
Okay.
At least you say you like. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I kind of like what Ryan said in the chat about watching like them in the House and the Senate. It's literally like watching people fighting that ain't even married. Probably worded it horribly, but that's the way my brain looked at it. And it's so interesting because like the more and more I've looked in, researching and having to dig through all the nonsense and misdirections that all these media channels are showing, it's insanity. The amount of misdirections and illusions, and to me, if we just had like a council of people like that didn't have ties to companies, let me say it this way. These are people that we're voting for, right? That's supposed to be helping run this country and make sure, bills and laws are put into place that can benefit the whole, right? How come it's predominantly Republicans and Democrats that can afford those commercials on TV, but the independent or what? I know there's multiple other ones, right? They need all that money, right? But they get the money from the corporations, and whoever can pay the most gets the most airtime. How is that fair? Why not go, all right, here's Fox News. All right, we're going to give an allotted time every day to this, and this. Let's say 4 people.
I think Badger. I don't think that they're really concerned. I don't think they're really concerned with the idea or the concept of being fair. I don't think that's even a part of their vocabulary to be fair.
But that's why yesterday I brought up brainwashing.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, that's what it all is. It's brainwashing the general public.
Okay. Well, like I
Education's
said,
all screwed up.
I go right back to this right here, Badger. Everybody, you know, you got CNN, you got Fox, you got C-SPAN, you got MSNBC. Everybody have their own agendas, and they're going to get on the top of that box, and they're going to scream their agenda and scream against everybody else's agenda as loud as they can, because
How much would it mess you up
everybody want to be heard. Everybody want to be heard. Go ahead.
if all of them are actually after one agenda, and that's putting money in their pockets, and they're just using different ways to keep us fighting one another?
I don't know. Everyone is such a powerful word. I don't know if everybody is.
I'm talking about. Okay, I'd say 95% of the politicians we got right now are more focused on keeping us distracted than telling the truth.
If that be the case, that would be a very sad reality. If 95% of the people that we voted into office is only there for their own.
How many Americans would accept that as a truth if it was the truth?
What if it's not? What if it's not? What if you have?
I would be very happy if I was proven wrong.
What if you have some people that's actually in office that, like with everything else, you have people that get overshadowed sometimes. Not that they don't have the right intentions, not that they don't have the want to do the right things, but sometimes they get overshadowed and they get pushed to the wayside. It happens every day in every walk of life that we live in. People get pushed
disagree with that. I just don't think
pushed to the side.
As many.
There's no way I could agree with 95%, man. That's too much. I think there's some people in office on both sides of the fence that want to do the right thing for the people. I really do think that there's more than what you're giving credit for right now. Mr. Hicks, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? But again, Badger, that's your opinion, brother. I can't give you. You have your own opinion.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, Mr. Hicks, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Good morning, Glow family. Pray everybody's doing well.
Yes, sir. Doing well. Good to have you, brother. The party, we're talking about the president and the political parties. What if we got rid of the parties, Democrat and Republican, got rid of both the parties, and the president ran the country on what the president wants to do? Would that lead us in a situation whereas that person could become the dictator? Could that be more dangerous than good?
Well, they got a saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's something inherent in the human nature. You know, I was listening to the brother talking about how there's checks and balances within the system if applied. But we're witnessing now. I mean, like I said, I've been watching politics all my life. My father had an interest, and I sort of picked up things. We're at a time now where it's blatant, it's out in the open violations of the rules. You have folks go before Congress, perjure themselves, lie, nothing happened. You have people dump vital. I mean, just like you said, the fairness, an unequal system. They raid Trump, police, a president now, raid him, do all that stuff. Biden, it's just, I mean, bottom line, I don't know. I know this, though. I learned a long time ago that the people we see as our leaders on TV and all that stuff, they're not the leaders. They're not the powers. The powers are unseen, and the powers are diabolical. Things are not happening by accident. This is all part of a plan. Again, like I said, I came back and I became a Marxist, a communist. I studied all material. I believed it. The lumpen proletarian, oppressor, and oppressed, and it really it balanced down to being jealous of those who succeeded in the society and redistributing wealth, which take away personal property and which take away personal rights. We've given away so much rights in my lifetime I remember when it was illegal for police to put up a roadblock and just stop people on the road and check license. It was illegal, it was unconstitutional. But it changed. And I think, but that's life, it is changing. I think that when we recognize that there is a deep state, there are people that's affecting the policy of this country who aren't elected. They are there for 30 and 40 years. And they're the real power. The person that becomes the president is the person that go out and get money from everybody, promise to go give them what they're going to give them. Big industry. It's a hoax in the game. And until people wake up and recognize that it's not a democracy, that's the whole problem. Everybody talk about democracy. It's a republic. It is based on a constitution.
Now, are we everybody in this world, are we pawns in the game, or are we even on the table at all?
Are we the power? We just don't know it. All we got to do is just stop doing things. I mean, not no BLA ride about fabricated issues. The issues of what's happening to the Constitution. The issue of all these questions that happened in my lifetime, in your lifetime. Assassination of Kennedy, assassination of Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King. You can go through a list of these stuff and all the other people that we don't even know about that they sit out there, hit squads to take out because they discovered a cure for cancer, a free energy. I mean, it's a game. And I know it sounds radical. I've never voted and won't vote. It's a corrupt system. I'm not going to participate.
Do you think they killed CB? CB?
Of course they did. You know how much money is made? I was talking to a young brother again. I told you, Taylor, the Creek Indian I have stand with me. Somebody abandoned him down here. And very intelligent, but he's only 22 years old. He's so bright, it blows my mind. These young folks see it. And unless there's a awakening and people start things develop in Russia through Stalin and those regimes, everybody start accepting a lie. When people are accepting lies in their daily communication and talk, systemic racism, all these things, I'm saying, no, I'm not saying there's not a valid point with these things. I'm saying they're divisive. They're designed to divide and cause conflict, defund the police, all these crazy kind of things. Can you imagine? Look, I was in Vietnam. I saw when a society falls down, when all institutions fail, and the death that's involved, the hurt and the wound. Now, the government, Obama, all them guys, I ain't vote for none of them. I see them. They're two hands working off the same body of a cabal, an international cabal with a plan that's going on for 1,000 years for world rulership, just like Napoleon.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say is it doesn't matter who's in office. The result is the same.
We got to find power. We got to find something about. Well, the Hopis got this. The Hopis got a prophecy, and they said everything could change overnight. It's a matter of a consciousness, a development.
Okay. Stay right there. Let's keep this thing going. What's on your heart, brother?
Not too much. Just just listening. Everybody has their own point of view. And how one person sees the world can be completely different than the other people sees the world, which shows you why interests are different and parties are different. Some people will never be satisfied. Period. They will always reject everything, regardless of what it may be. And you have to accept that.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say is, I could come to you and give you, and not saying you particular, but I could give a person $1 million and they'll complain because I didn't give them 3.
Yeah, basically. That's the nature of people. I'm going to give you an even closer example. What they do in government as a motive is no different than what your child would do that they don't want you to know. It's human nature. And the older you get, you learn that. You should become wiser to that. You should get out of this believing everything someone tells you. You should never take someone else's opinion to form a hatred against someone else.
Mm-hmm.
As a human, as a decent human being anyway, you should be seeking that which is decent. There are some people that don't believe that fat people should even be able to order certain things at restaurants. If they could get that as a law, they would.
Wow.
I mean, you would, if you look at the number of bills and things that are proposed, you're like, these people crazy. Yes, there are crazy people that propose crazy things that are part of government all the time.
This dude just say there's some people that believe that fat people shouldn't be able to order certain things at a restaurant. Zamari.
Yeah. And there are some people who believe that they should sue a restaurant because for some reason they think that they was forced to eat their food and that's how they got that.
Mm-hmm.
My coffee was hot. I'm suing.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say that. Yep, exactly. That coffee, the coffee now, your hot coffee waste on your lap, and you sue and win.
So this thing is a work in progress. It is not, and America being as young as it is has a long way to go still.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we offer more freedom than the majority of anywhere else in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Zamari, what's on your heart, sis?
Nothing really. His comment though, that was gold. I love that. But it's true. He's right though, right? You know, because that's we live in a crazy world with crazy things. And like what I said in the chat, you know, talking about this whole division thing, it's the exact same reason why the church is so divided into different beliefs and sects and all this other stuff, because they just can't get along and come together with the one thought that, hey, Jesus died for our sins on the cross. Can we all agree on that, please? And then just move about our freaking day? No, but they have to divide the Bible up into sections. And so you got this belief over here and this belief over here because they believe this part, and then the other church over here only believes this part. It's the same with the dang, I almost swore. It's the same with the dang with our political parties. They all believe something different, and they take something different from parts of our Constitution. This one over here wants this one over here wants that. Hello, the Constitution is not meant to be picked apart. It is a whole document.
Mm-hmm.
A whole document. So we need people in office, and my husband and I, we talk about this all of the time, how what really needs to happen, the government is too big. It's way too big. It's out of control. Way too many people doing way too many things, and we don't need all of that. We need to condense it down to fewer people being for the people, and I think it would be better that way.
I can see what you're saying, and I can see your point, but I think it's big because of the fact that the country is big, and you have so many different states, and they try, whether it's effective, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but they try to have each state in the United States to represent itself in the United States. Now, my thing is, I've always said this: if it's a United States, let's be united. Let's come together and be united. But they have to have, each state have to have their own representatives, as many as it is, to come and represent their state for their objective, for their state, to look out for the betterment of their state. Now, is that needed? Possibly. But do you need that many people to do it? Go ahead,
Do you
Ryan.
want me to respond to this, or do you want?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So you said a couple of things with that. First of all, you're talking about being divided, right?
Yes.
So if you have a country, but then you're allowing each state to govern itself, isn't that division right there?
It is. It is.
No. It's a choice. I think with the abortion, the whole abortion thing is that if a state and the people that vote in that state want the abortion rights, they can vote and have it based off of a
I think what she's saying is the mindset alone that is divided, because if we're united, then we should all, if we be up under one umbrella. This is what it is. But see, the scary part about that is when you see something like that, when you start talking in that way, people start talking, well, that's communist. That's communist. And so, so there you have another issue. But go ahead on Hicks, Mr. Hicks.
Well, I think the whole idea of the Confederacy for states' right, when you go back historically, you find that for Lincoln to do what he did in this fight against slavery, he violated the Constitution. That was part of the big argument about states' right. And I think you can be united and not be conformed. I think it's finding see the whole concept of this experiment was that the individual had intrinsic value. He had rights given to him, natural rights. These are rights given to him by the Creator to be an individual, to be able to express his thought. What makes this country work, and when the periods that it do work, is when people are speaking honestly, straight talk. It's hard to negotiate and it's hard to expect change when people lie, and the whole society around you agree to the lie. The king do have on clothes even though he's naked. You can't define what a woman is. You can't go and teach 3 and 4 years old about sexual alternatives. And then you can agree with that. And people lie, and they know in their guts they know it's wrong. But you don't want to get canceled. You want to be accepted. The biggest strength to have is to be able to stand on your truth. But stand on, don't waver, but then be flexible enough to, when you get new information, new perspective, be flexible enough to change and make an adjustment. Everything around us is changing so fast. The cabals and the conspiracies behind what's happening, it's a playbook written by revolutionaries. It's what Castro, it's how you do it. The format is breed dissension. Breed distrust between people. Have them tell on each other. The COVID is on. They got 5 people over in the house. Put your mask on, and you begin to designate the everyday citizen to enforce these norms that go against your rights given to you by the Creator. So, in order to have these rights, in order for them to be effective, people have got to be willing to die for them, not necessarily kill for them. Because that's the history showed us. You become a monster when you fight a monster, and when the monster's gone, you are new. It's a song back in the '60s. Meet the old boss, the same as the new boss.
Okay, Ryan.
I'm gonna go ahead and just keep rolling with Mr. Hicks on this one. It's a news broadcast, or well,
what you know about the song in the '60s? Okay.
It's so I put in chat. His name is Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov defected from Russia as a KGB agent about 40 years ago, and he told a tale of how their communist regimes, Russia, China, are infiltrating the United States without us even knowing it.
Yes.
They're not having to fight us, not having to breed us out. They're changing our belief systems and our doctrines to keep us divided against each other on purpose, because that's the only way that they can win. What a lot of people lose sight of in the United States is, just picture, if you will, they always refer to us as the shining gem on the hill, because we're the last bastion of hope for everyone else around the globe.
That's right.
That's why when you see Chinese people who are constantly oppressed every day of their life out in the streets, when something real bad happens over there, they're waving American flags, begging for us to come and save them. There's a reason for that. And that's because without us, there is no more hope. So the more they keep us divided and fighting, these other countries are pointing and laughing at us because we argue over things like race, which is meaningless. It has no meaning whatsoever. cut you open, you gonna bleed red just like me. And despite what anybody thinks, we all the same. We do have different values at our core, but we're still the same. And what Yuri was saying was they infiltrated the school system first.
Yes.
Because they could take those teachers that they put in there, and those teachers are going to teach those kids the communistic way of things. And by the time those kids become adults, their children have already been indoctrinated. So it becomes a cycle. And they're constantly feeding these things into us, and it disintegrates our culture. And he also touched on the I'm trying to figure the word. We'll just say sexual revolution in quotes, with gays, transgenders, all of these different things that we're starting to see come out in this wave, tidal floods coming across the country. Seem like every time I turn around, somebody I know is gay or transgender. And it's like, what's going on? And he touched on that 40 years ago.
Yeah.
He said, we'll get this to become the norm. And when communism takes over, communism doesn't care about gay. It doesn't care about transgender. Once they got you in the mindset where those things are normal, communism comes in and says, we don't care about that, and we'll exterminate you.
Your body start lining up.
Badger?
I was just posting how a lot of people there's been an increase in people moving to Texas. There's a lot of things about Texas that people don't like. Like healthcare access. Texas still thinks $7.25 an hour is enough for people to live on, and all that other stupid stuff, right? But they're homeschooling laws, and some of the way the state handles taxes, people do like, and it's easy. It is cheaper to live here. So, like the schools around here, why are the schools so bad that teachers are going to have to carry guns? And why are they carrying guns now? When I was in school, I didn't really have to worry about school shootings and stuff like that. That was such an extreme and rare case. Now it's almost like it's a common everyday occurrence, and that's terrifying. But the more listening to what we're all saying, that's the whole thing about the brainwashing thing. You've got these powers to be all over the world working together, trying to push the same narrative. And then you got some places here and there that they are the way that they are. I met a person that moved here from Africa. I'm trying to remember where he came from Africa, and he's working at the Lowe's not far from me. And I was sitting there having a conversation with him, and he was telling me how where he grew up, the parents helped the kids get into school and stuff. They weren't even, marriage wasn't even, the priority. It was making sure that you were able to provide for a family before you thought about a family. And I said things were good. We helped each other, we lifted up each other, and like all this really awesome stuff. And then he said Western culture showed up. All of a sudden, everything started costing more. All this corporation stuff started, running everything over. So he said, why stay there and deal with it when I can just live here? There ain't no difference no more. And that got me thinking of what was meant by that, because there is a lot of ways I agree with Ryan about our country showing hope because of how much we want to hold on to that freedom that America's supposed to have. But I've talked to people that are from other countries because of the things that I do, and there's so much. Even when we are given information on our social media pages and things like that, it's not 100% accurate of what's going on in other countries. It's not. So we are unfortunately in a scenario today of where if we don't start coming together and actually becoming more educated and researching to make sure that the bills that are being passed and understanding the word usage that they're using, because they're silver tongued, they'll say things and make it sound all pretty and nice and fill you full of confidence that they're telling the truth. But if you dig far enough and you pay attention, it wasn't the truth.
Wow.
Like, I always use Trump as an example because it's a never ending topic with him and Biden. He's anti-China from what he says, right? Why did he stop a company from putting a place in Mexico and support them and sending it over to China? Why is Biden over here doing the same thing? There we go again. There's the example. One coin, both sides.
Good deal. Good deal.
Like,
Yeah, it's a lot going on, man. It's a lot. This is Way Out Wednesday. I want to thank everybody for joining us more than that. I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow to be a part of your morning. Give us a call. You can certainly be a part of the conversation. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. K with an E. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Blessed in you.
Hey, doing well. Good to have you, sis. What do you think about what we're talking about? You've been listening in for a minute. What do you think about what we're talking about? What we are, if we take both parties and despair both parties and give the president all the power, do you think that we will be in a secret situation? Whereas, it could be a dictatorship. It could be like almost like a communist type situation. What do you say to that? Is it dangerous?
I don't think it would be dangerous. I really don't.
Okay. Explain it to me why. Why?
Not with Biden in, I don't think it would be dangerous. I think that he got a nice little crew on his team. He ain't making all the decisions, no way, not just by himself. So
now, see, my thing is, he in the situation, in the scenario I'm talking about, he will be making all the decisions because you'll get rid of both, all Congress and all this stuff will be gone. It will be the president will be the one that make the final decision. He has to say all be all. Is what it is. There's no Republican, no Democratic. It's the president. No Congress. It's the president. Would that?
I think he would be okay. But what happens with Carmelo and them? All of them leave too.
No, he would have his people like the vice president and stuff like that. But as far as like all the other elements is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he'll be okay. Got enough real close.
Would you be comfortable with that?
I would be very comfortable with that.
Okay. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? We about to step away for a second.
I'm right here.
Okay, good deal.
I can't complain, man. Just enjoying another beautiful new day, man.
Hey, good to have you, brother. Good to have you. What do you say about this, man? What kind of situation would we be in if that were to happen?
Well, we'd be in a very peculiar predicament, man. I mean, because no man should have that type of power alone. I mean, to think that we would be all right, you know what I'm saying? I guess you would have to forget about Hitler. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you would completely have to not even realize that a Hitler existed to feel like that one man would be, pretty okay to trust to be humane and fair and just. I don't think there's one man on this planet that you could put him over the entire world well, he's not going to do something that's going to make some people unhappy because it's based off of how he feels.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, yeah, I wouldn't believe in giving anybody that type of power at all, that type of control. You know, that would be very dangerous. But I got another question though, because most people on here probably gonna say, "Oh no, that would be terrible to do." But what if that man that everybody wanted to run the whole world was Jesus? One person. What would the answer be then?
Rico, sad as it is, and you know where I pretty much stand on this, but sad as it is, in that situation right there, you will find some people that will still complain.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, but you know, based off the question you asked, I'm just wondering, would they be more comfortable if you said he was going to run the world? Because to be honest with you, I think that's what Christians want. They want everybody to get saved, and they want them to go to Jesus. I mean, think about it. You know, so some of these same people that might come back and say, no, I don't ever want to see one person. You sure you don't want one person to control and run everything?
Yes, that's a very good question and powerful question. But my thing is, if you ask me personally that question, I would be okay. I would be fine with it. I would be. But like I said, you have some people that will have a huge issue with that. And everybody, like Leonard said earlier, everybody in any situation, in a scenario, can find a reason. I think Ryan said it as well. Is going to find a reason to complain in one way or another. They're gonna find a reason to complain. That's just what people do. They complain. Leonard, what do you say to that?
Well, you know, like I said, you know, it's just a matter of opinion. You can have a wish, but how you gonna manage it? You assume that everyone would be happy with the way you wanted things to be, and then you have a judgment system that other people don't use. So one, coexistence is better. And we'll talk about Christ, that Jesus came and he didn't fix it. Do you understand me? Because that wasn't his purpose. So people have to realize you can choose to live your life and follow the example set forth in the gospel of Jesus Christ. It don't matter what somebody else is doing. Salvation is for those that want it. So everybody don't want that. Everybody doesn't believe that. This is the same thing that God mentioned in the Bible. It's mentioned in the scriptures about the people wanting a king. And so now you have what we have today with rulers and things. No one man should ever be given that much power. What do you think Donald Trump would have done with all the power he wanted? He is an evil, wicked person. He is going to do evil, wicked things. And it's not a matter of opinion. Pull the record. He has told you what he will do, and some people still support that type of person. So what is everyone else supposed to do? Just suffer? Is that okay with you all?
Wow.
See, so one, my opinion isn't the right opinion for everybody. That's why we have to make sure we critically look at all the decisions that are being made that govern our lives.
And see, and that's why I say on here, everybody have their own opinion. I'm not here to give anybody their opinion. I give them opportunity to voice their opinion and how they feel about it, agree, disagree, or what have you. But, you know, everybody have their own opinion. I don't give anybody their opinion. That's their opinion. We got a couple of people on the phone. I think we got Tucson. Tucson, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. Lord, good morning.
470 area code. I'm coming to you next. Don't know who it is, but I'm coming to you next. Tucson, what do you say to this, man? If we get rid of all the Congress, get rid of every Republicans and the Democrats, we get rid of all of that, and we give the president, the sitting president at that particular time, all the power, all the say so. What do you think what would that leave us as a society?
Destruction, war. Anyway, you suggesting the king?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Sounds like it. That sounds like a king.
Mm-hmm.
So look at where there are kings and see if they're satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Or dictatorship. I was working out for what is China? A dictatorship? They don't have kings, do they?
No.
What do they have?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And Rico brought a point. That's why I called. Because Rico brought a point that and so if you get the hope of Christianity, Jesus will reign. You know what they're gonna do? Try to kill him again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because somebody don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of somebodies.
And you know what they're going to have anyway? War.
Mm-hmm.
War they can't win, according to, what we believe.
Because can you imagine every knee bowing and every tongue confessing? You think everybody want to bow and confess? No.
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, no. Not even to the point of total peace. You know why? We like chaos.
Mm-hmm.
We thrive on chaos. I tell you what, how much news would be covered or would they have if there was no drama? They go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
They shut the doors, tear the towers down. CNN, Fox, and everybody else. They close the doors within a year. Could be nothing to tell. Because people like drama and destruction and sorrow. But you put one man, even if it was Jesus, people don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
In our conduct. We don't. That's the last thing we want. I'm talking about the world as a whole.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, throw something else out there for free. Just since I thought about it, they don't even want it.
Wow. Wow. I think that's at 470. I think that's Cassandra. Cassandra, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Good morning, Cassandra. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, what do you say about what we're talking about right now? If we get rid of all the parties, Democrat, Republicans, get rid of all of them, give the president the final say so. You are the voice. You make all the decisions. You got all the power.
Good morning.
What
no, I don't. No. That's not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That has been tried, and that's being tried now, where people, and those are some of the most oppressive places on the planet where they have dictators. You might as well say dictator.
Mm-hmm.
If you say king, you might as well just go ahead and replace that with dictator, because most of the people that have that, they're the only say, they make the final decision, they're ruthless. So no, I think the way that we do it with there's checks and balances, that we need to maintain that, because you give one man that kind of power, absolute power does what? Absolutely corrupt people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's what you were asking, what I think about that type of environment, I think it's the worst thing to be done for any country. I don't think we need dictators.
Wow. I'm looking at my screen here. I don't know who's actually still here with me. Everybody got the cameras up. There you go. Zamari, what's on your heart, sis?
I mean, it's true. One person controlling all is a tyrant, a dictator. I mean, like what Rico said earlier about Hitler, right? Look at what Hitler did. He was the absolute power. And what did he do with that? You know, I mean, you can't can't have one man controlling it all like that, or one person, man, woman. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a freaking purple elephant. You can't do it. You just, you know, it can't just be one.
In the corner.
But you know, it's I still have to go back to what I originally said before with, I just think that our government is too large, too big for their own britches, really, is what it is. They're too big for their own britches. So I think we just need to downsize our government overall. Cut down their pay even. Let's do that and see if they still want to serve the communities that they claim to serve. Let's do that. Let's give them minimum wage and see if they can survive and if they like it and if they still want to hold those positions. Just saying. You know, let's do that.
That's good. That's good. Mr. Hicks?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me.
Wow. I did some study some time back about anarchy. I thought that anarchy mean just no government and crazy and everything going on crazy, no structure. But when you get to the fundamental base of it, talks about consciousness, people being developed to a point inside their self that they had a creator that sat on the throne inside their hearts. I think long as we dealing with these things from a secular, political, military kind of thing, we're going to always come up with confusion. I think the way out of this madness is spirituality and looking. You know what's that scripture says? Although we walk in the flesh, we don't war after the flesh. For our weapons are mighty through Christ to tearing down strongholds and evilness in high places. Those high places are in governments and institutions that's been established. When you start talking about systemic stuff, these systemic things that run through our society are all derived from a political, economic, and these bases, but it's not from a spiritual. And I think when you say spiritual, other than religion, you know, my mother was evangelist. I was born in a Christian household. I became a Muslim and practiced that for 28 years. And when I looked at how my children raised under, seeing the manifestation of what they lived through, because children don't choose their religion. I was born into a house, they believed a certain way. I was domesticated, and that was my belief system. Then I went out into the world, had experience, went to war, and began to try to frame my own belief system. But I know this here, that every time I was religious, it was me and the others. It was me, my people that believed like me, and the others who didn't. And there was that division, even in that separation. I think when I began to change and turn, blue uniform was an enemy to me. I grew up in the 50s and stuff when all the police was a certain kind of way with us. And then I began to read the Kunta Kinte stories and read all the stuff, how bad we had it. And I tell you this honestly, I can say this honestly. In my life, my personal experience of racism, I can't even count the times in my hand where I experienced it personally, directed at me. And I think it was because it was that even when I was in prison and everybody looked and said, man, that's one of those real in prison, you know everything. It's a small kind of system. If you smoke weed in your room, if you deal with homos, it ain't a secret. It's going to get out there. So my time, people watch me and they say, man, that guy's here. He a real Muslim. But it wasn't I got that from being a Muslim. I got it from children learn from what they see around them and what they hear. My mother had a spirit that I didn't really honor and respect till I was older to be able to understand her. A thing of loving people. I just couldn't understand, how could you love people? I didn't like people. Bottom line, I didn't like myself.
Wow.
And that's where it starts with the self. But I ain't gonna preach. I'm going out of here.
Good deal. The Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
So this is one of the things that I dug into and started researching because I was curious. How much money do we pay people sitting in those seats?
Oh, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a side deals.
The average is 6.27 trillion.
Ooh.
Our healthcare is only up to like 4.1 million. So we pay more for people sitting in them seats than we do on the healthcare of our country.
So basically, what you're saying is our value system is off.
Well, it's not just that. Like, I love Z's idea about, you know, putting them in the positions of, you know, having to work a fast food. I'm saying fast food, of a minimum wage job and everything. But here's the issue I have with this, because the whole idea of a dictatorship, we should learn from history of pharaohs, kings and queens, and all that other stuff. It doesn't, most of the time, it goes really bad.
Mm-hmm. Ryan just went exactly where I was what I was saying when I was saying about the value system, because what happened is, you know, we say that people that's quote unquote supposedly running the country is only making $150,000 a year
supposedly
on paper. I say supposedly $150,000 a year on paper, but you got a professional athlete making millions of dollars a year. So
well, here, hold on.
If we're gonna talk about the value system, let's really talk about the value system.
Okay.
If a person, hold on, Badger, if a person is going to make $150,000 to run the country, yet you're gonna give a professional athlete $10 million a season, man, you know, where's the value? Where's the value system?
How the people in the House and the Senate, right? If you start digging into what their net worth is, how much money that they actually have each year.
Does any of them make more than LeBron? Does any of them make more than LeBron James?
There's a couple of them that are up there with sports people.
Wow.
I've dug enough into it. I think the lowest net worth I saw was right at 100,000, and it was a woman.
How much?
About 100,000 is her net worth.
That's nowhere close to what a professional athlete make, brother.
No, I said that's the lowest.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it goes into the millions.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Even though they're in those positions, they get donations from corporations. That it's a donation, it's a gift. So a lot of that's not documented. They're able to invest in stock market, and there's no proper way to know exactly how much they have in that. So even though they're in these seats of power that's supposed to be for us, money is what's dictating everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's proof that just out of our own pockets, out of our taxes and everything that we pay, we spend more money on them trying to make sure the laws that are created are fair. Like someone brought up the whole abortion law. There are certain states it's banned pretty much 100%.
Wow. Okay.
You have to be, a woman has to be in such a severe state, and I mean severe, before they would even think that it's okay. Like they'll probably just let her just die on the table first.
Wow.
Don't matter if she's got 10 other kids, she's got to take care of at the house. She has no choice. So it's one of those things of, what are we paying? Where is our value system? Why do we worship people that have the money instead of the people that are out here like Cassandra, Leonard, Mr. Hicks? People that are out here, or even Captain Dennis, that are out here doing their best to uplift and work with the people that need it the most. And it's a fight to get proper help.
Good deal. Let me go to Ryan. Ryan, what do you say to that, man? Because from my vantage point, from what I'm looking at and the way I view it, though they may make a lot of money in politics, they're not making close to what the professional athletes are making.
Are you right? Most of those dudes throwing the ball around, playing catch, putting it in the basket is making more in one season than most politicians make in a lifetime, depending on how long they hold seat.
Tom Brady just got a $300 million contract to be an announcer. $300 million to be an announcer. Come on, man.
Just to talk about what he's watching on the TV, right?
Yes, exactly.
So that, and people want to complain and point fingers at the 1% that got all those billions when they busted their behinds to make that money. You want to take something that man made and redistribute it. It's almost the same with a sports figure, but for real, you playing a game. They doing something that they love, and you want to complain about somebody who's running a business making money, and then those guys want to use that sports platform, some of them, and step out there and talk about this issue or hunger or this or this. Well, what's up, man? You making $300 million just for playing a game for 3 months. Why don't you take some of that money and go ahead and put it where your mouth is? That's how I feel. You know, as far as abortion, we'll go ahead and go back with Mr. Hicks. What the legislation that was just overturned, it didn't ban abortion. It put it back where it belonged, in the hands of the state. So if you're staying in a state where you can't get an abortion willy-nilly because you just can't cross your legs, then why don't you move to a state where you can do it? That's your choice. That's the beauty of America, is you have the choice to go somewhere else and have that procedure done.
Right.
As
So
far as,
it's easier said than done, brother. Some people just can't afford to make that move.
I understand that. But at the same time, what Badger was just saying, they ain't going to leave you on a table to die, man. In a hospital, there is a right to treatment. And if your life is in danger, they have no choice but to take care of you. They can't just let you die, or that's it for them. And you think they're going to mess up their money flow, letting you die on that table for no good reason? No.
Come to Texas, in your opinion, to change.
But, you know, again, that's another diversionary tactic, right? Going back just a little bit, the last time I spoke, we were talking about Yuri Bezmenov telling us how they was going to infiltrate the country. Let me go back to 2018. Trump was still in office, right? He sent a man over to China to sit in on a conference. And in this conference, it was all targeted at us here in America. And the topic of conversation was racism, sex, transgenderism, again. And what the speaker was saying was, again, we don't have to fight America. They're so focused on race and sex that we already won the battle. He said, here in China, we have the greatest thing in the world for us. We're all racist. Those were his words. We're racist because we hate everybody else that's not Chinese. We don't have to worry about racism here because we don't have it. It's not a thought. So they can go ahead and argue over here about it, and we'll just win the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's a tactic. That's why I always allude when we're having talks about anything even close to this nature is pay attention, because this is in your face right here.
Yeah.
But they got what's going on over here that you ain't paying attention to.
Yeah.
They're distracting us from the game. They're keeping us away from doing this.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to have, again, I said it before, it's so important for us to have these talks, get this stuff out in the open.
Yeah.
Especially on an open platform like this, where somebody could just happen one day to come across the restream of the broadcast and it turn on a light bulb. Oh man, they on some stuff right there.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico?
Well, you know, I want people to actually pay attention to what the reality is. China is saying we don't have those problems they have over in America. Hold on one second.
Cassandra.
So even though they we are communists and we don't have those problems, guess what? They're democratic. They believe in capitalism. democracy and American dream, and they want the right to say that they're a woman when they're really a man. They want the right to pop their legs open and get rid of babies just to cover up for their promiscuity. They don't want you to judge. They want hands off. And guess what? We're going to destroy them by their own actions. Let them have their democracy. Oh, bad communists. Communists, bad, bad, bad. Boo, boo. Think about that. Yeah. Think about that. They ain't even got to do nothing. We're doing it ourselves because there's something about this system that is out of order. Our value system, business, money talks, BS walks. So we will see when it's profitable. Hey, come to China. Let's build the Olympics. Let's get Yao Ming. Let's build McDonald's. Oh, this ain't the China that you used to know. China trying to make things fair. They trying to get in on the business. Oh, no. They're trying to bomb us. They're going to take us over again. They ain't but 60 years old, but we telling you about this communism thing, man. It's doom. You ain't never seen nothing worse than that in your life. Forget about chattel slavery. Oh, yeah. They will make you think that it's just as bad. Now, I ain't saying communism is good. I'm just telling you that that's how propaganda works and that's how the system works. And some of these people that's still promoting that image and that's putting these things out, they supported them. The neocons, the neo-Nazis, Prescott Bush, Rockefeller, Standard Oil. Money talks, even when we fighting the Nazis. And then we'll bring them over here and exonerate some of them and make them immune because they could help us with our space program and create more weapons of mass destruction. Now they all good people. Now we want to kill them at first, but now let's let them live for our benefit. This is our situation. This is our reality. And why is all this okay? And why is all this inconsistency cool? Because money talk and BS walk. That's the value system. And they got us. Because even in those political seats that we want to get, those lobbies will use money to manipulate the media and MK Ultra and all this programming to get you to vote for people you don't need to even vote for. Because the people that you should be voting for might just have 1,000 votes compared to the 100,000 that the mainstream people have.
Exactly. Wow. Cassandra?
Yeah. What am I responding to?
Same thing. What do you think about where we are right now?
I mean, I've pretty much stated my stand that it's just, I don't know. As much as we have problems here in this country, I feel like if we ran it right, the system that we have in place could be really great. You know what I'm saying? Because it gives everybody the chance to have their representation or their views, at least somebody to talk on their behalf. But nothing that even resembles I don't know even what word to use, that even resembles Nazism or any of the other stuff that they have going on. It's not going to work here. It really wouldn't work here anyway. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Leonard, what's on your heart? And Cap, will come to you next. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Raheem, I am how do I say? Some of you sound very covetous. I'm not into coveting other people, what other people have. The people that run this government don't make that much money. You can look at their salaries. But what you fail to realize, these people do other things as well, which is usually how they became millionaires and all these types of things. Everyone thinks that everybody else makes too much money. You know why those athletes get paid? I bet you know more about that athlete's life than you know about the person that represents you in Congress. That's why they get paid that much. because they generate revenue for several people. So when you're looking at, you saying, well, why don't these people get paid this much? Your president only gets $400,000 of salary.
Yeah.
$400,000 to be the president of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all think that's okay, I bet. Oh, he don't deserve no more money. Why? Because you're not getting that type of money? What would you want to be paid? You got teachers. Everybody's fighting for more money because they believe that they're of more value. But you can't generate the income that LeBron James generates for so many people. That's why he has that type of monetary value.
So you think he should get paid more than the president?
I think he should get paid as much as the market will pay him.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the environment that he is in. He's not elected to do anything. He don't represent you doing anything. Mm-hmm. And then he chooses to use his wealth to fund those things that he would want to fund, like schools and helping poor people and things of that nature. But never should you compare these two things.
I mean, again, man, I feel slightly different on that. A person,
think about it. What makes you think a person with a PhD in government and public policy should only be paid $150,000?
No, I didn't say that, but I was actually talking about the athletes being paid millions of dollars to play a little boy's game or a little girl's game.
They earn it. They earn it. They have a great talent. That's why they make that much money, because of how much money they generate for everyone else in that field. So
it goes back basically to the money, what they're making for everybody else. But what the people that's supposed to be in place to make sure that we're safe and afford them an opportunity to even play that game.
Well, but no, some of you already said they get paid too much. That's why it's not the salary. The people that serve you in government are open for everyone to look at. Most people who are pursuing wealth don't go that way because they're paid so little. You have like what? Why would Oprah Winfrey want to be president? She would.
No. My thing.
She wouldn't want to be president.
But my thing is right here, and somebody made mention of teachers in the chat earlier. I think teachers should get paid a lot more money than what they get paid. I really do think they should get paid a lot more money.
Homeschool.
I'm voting to raise teacher pay.
Post-secondary education was a whole game. You got to send your kids to school. If you don't, they'll lock you up.
Yeah,
because that's where they get programmed. That's when they get programmed against their parents. That's when they begin snitches on their parents, and the whole game is like Pol Pot's Cambodia is to kill the elders, kill all the old people, so they can't pass on what it used to be and what it should be. Destroy them. We send our kids to these schools, and they. I saw some things on YouTube. They walked up to kids and asked them things like, "Who's the capital of this and country this?" These people they dumbed us down. My hope when I develop out of my spirit of hatred, and I begin to understand, not only was I misleaded and I didn't know, they don't know either. They don't know the history. They don't know what's been done to all of us, to them, because the slaves suffered, but the oppressors suffered too. Theirs was psychological and emotional and damaged.
Wow.
Keep the kids out of them schools. Schools are corrupt. Homeschool your kids. Teach them. And even if you do send them to school, you got to have some class to tell them the truth at home, because they teach them lies. Everything they teach them is lies. Except for mathematics. The history is lost. The history, we don't even know what history. This is way out Wednesday. Let me just throw one thing in the form if I can. I don't know if anybody else has studied what's coming on the YouTube about the Anunnaki, about Thoth, about what the Yahweh, this God that repented for making a creation, destroyed them, the one that didn't know why Adam and Eve. Ask question, who told you that? And then the Israelites, when they wanted a human being to be their God, they wanted a man to be their God, not an alien. not one of these extraterrestrial that camouflage themselves as a god, to say I'm a jealous God and go kill them all, babes and all animals. And you wonder why now in the gospel of the Christ, of Jesus, he came and usurped everything in the Old Testament, all of that stuff. And he talked about a God of love, not a God of jealousy, not a God that looked at people by age, sex, or race, but a God that was purely, a God is love. Simple. Not a jealous God, not me, us, and others get circumcised to be different. That's cutting off the head of the snake. The ancient worship of all of this, even in Catholicism, is a serpent. It's serpent worship.
Wow.
People don't believe it. They don't believe it on the dollar.
This gotta be way I went with history. You on the road this morning?
Space on the capsule is saying that whatever rules this government, there's a space. It's not of this world. It's evilness in high places. And it's not just a spiritual thing. It's beings. But I'm out of here.
Cap, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, Brother Brian. Good morning to my beautiful Morning Glow family.
Yes, sir. Good to have you, brother. We're talking about the president right now. We actually talking about the president, and if there was a situation where we got rid of both parties, Democrat and Republican, got rid of both parties and gave president absolute power to make all the decisions, didn't have to go through the Congress, didn't have to do any of that. He or she got the power to make the decisions. Would that be a good or bad thing, or what would that leave us as a society?
Well, anybody that has any kind of intelligence know absolute power also absolute corrupts. No, I think, we look at the history of America. If you look at Congress, you're looking at a bunch of old white men who's running this government, who's so far removed from the reality of the existence of poor whites and poor black people, making decisions upon their attitude of believing that gunboat diplomacy always rule. And it's almost like it's a sad state of affair. I was listening to my brother Leonard, and when you went to ask him a question, I was almost getting ready to answer what Leonard was going to say. Leonard's famous words, I don't bother myself with these kind of things. But the reality is, we're living in a society where you see the rich get richer and the poor gets poorer. Yes, it's a shame that an athlete makes more money than a teacher. I did a study with some children in the school, and I listed 5 professions: doctor, lawyer, teacher, fireman, police officer. And I asked the student, which one gets paid money? They said teacher. They said doctor. I said, which one gets paid the least amount of money? They said teacher. And then I said, which one of the 5 professions is the most valuable, important one? They said teacher. Now, how is it that you couldn't be a ball player unless you went to school and a teacher taught you? How is it you can't be a doctor unless you went to college and a teacher taught you? How is it that the one that's trusted with the most valuable resource, which is our children's mind, get paid the least amount of money? There's definitely something wrong with that picture. Now, I don't have no problem with anybody making money. And if the athletes want to make that astronomical figure, it's cool. That's all right with me. I'm not hating on that. But America has reached its threshold, in my opinion, of an inordinate greed. If you look at Babylon in the Bible and all of the ancient in Rome, it wasn't the fact that their righteousness brought about their demise, is that their wickedness has outweighed their righteousness, and have America's righteousness outweigh her wickedness. So when we look at the government, and when I look at Congress, I look at these old white men. Excuse me, I ain't racist, y'all. I'm just saying. As running the government, they so far removed from the reality. And if you gave one power, come on, man, so it's sad state of affairs. If you looked at the data this morning, I always look, it's dropping. If you look at the condition of the morality, and we said we took God out to schools, America's on the decline. Ray Charles could see that. What are we talking about? If we say we Christians, if we say we Muslims, if we believe that God is going to remove the wicked and establish his kingdom, could it be, family? Could it be? When the Bible says Babylon the Great, she's fallen, she's fallen, she's fallen. She has become an habitation of devil, a cage of every hateful fowl. Let me say we believe that. Could America be that Babylon?
Wow.
And if we're in decline and we're in the fall, is God replacing a righteous kingdom? But how does God replace his righteous kingdom? With conversations like this, with righteous people who desire righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
Do we desire righteousness? Then we have to remove. And of course, Brother Leonard tell you in a minute, we don't choose no politician on no moral ticket. We never choose a politician on no moral ticket.
Mm-hmm.
If we choose them on a moral ticket, there ain't a politician we can have. But the president, he said, makes $400,000. Well, look at this. It ain't the money. It ain't the money that makes the president. It's the influence. It ain't the money to have the power to influence. Oh, that's dangerous, especially if you got a twisted racist mind. I'm not saying the black president as we had do any better, but no, I would not give no one power. The absolute one should have the power as God.
Mm-hmm.
God is not a liar. God is not a Satan. And if you look at social, and I like what Brother Rico said, when you look at socialism, the body is a great example of socialism. The body, each organ takes no more what it needs to function. Even in the animal world, the lion only kills what it needs to eat. It don't go, okay, let me kill over here. Okay, well, man, let me go get this buffalo. Let me go over here. It takes just enough what it needs to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So we could say, don't throw away socialism. Don't throw away maybe we can find something between the two. But the democracy, which is hypocrisy, this Republican, which is really, can we find something between? It's not impossible. But the way it's going today, man, it's America is going to HELL in a rocket ship.
Wow. Zamari?
I'm sorry, everybody. Hey, man, don't get me started this morning. I ain't even had my medicine yet.
There you go. Zamari?
Oh, I think I'm done. I'm good at this point.
Now how are we going to have radio, television, and the people that supposed to talk ain't saying nothing? We might want to shut the show down then. We shut the show down. Ain't nobody going to talk and shut the show down. No.
I've been up all night. Just be happy I'm here.
There you go. Cassandra, what's on your heart, sis? Cassandra, I'm gonna make a race between you and Tucson, so you're gonna find the mute button first. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm listening to things because it's almost like this for thinking. So if you get one power.
Hey, Tucson, you're a little bit low. Your volume's a little bit low, brother.
Okay. How about that?
Oh, go ahead. Let me hear you.
You good?
Yeah, there you go. We can hear you now. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay. So if you get, how would you go about selecting out of all the people in the world, all the governments, all of the
even in this country, different belief systems, morals, values. Where would you search that out? That one person? Nobody's qualified. Well, in this country, you don't have to be qualified for anything. You just have to be morally corrupt, and you'll get a yay. It's kind of like, let's choose Barabbas. How about that? Let him do it. That's the perfect candidate for the way that we conduct ourselves. You have to have somebody that, oh, please do not get nobody that cares about people. We can't have that. We will not stand for that. Fair and even equality. And so now we have to share the wealth. And we really not gonna have that. We can't have that because all of these millionaires that can help society and feed the hungry and clothe the naked and house the homeless will have to give up. It's kind of like the rich young ruler mentality. Sell all you have and give it to the poor. Sorry, I would follow you, Jesus. That's too much to ask because I got too much to offer. Nobody really want to offer anything. Everybody want to get something. It's me, mine, I society, especially in this country. So the choices are slim, I tell you that much, because Raheem just basically from the platform, you'll be the least candidate.
Yeah, I believe that. Cassandra, you back with us?
Yes, I like to say no to drugs because I had both my phones out and I'm pushing the mute button. I'm pushing the button on the phone I'm not using. It's not even. Boy, I'm telling you. Say no to drugs. Those pain medications have me so loopy. No, I don't have anything else to say because that right there just let me know I am not prepared today.
And see, and you lost the race. Go Tucson beat you to the mute button. I knew something was wrong when Tucson, when as slow as Tucson is, found that mute button, and he
exactly.
Anybody have anything else they want to say on this topic before we move to something else?
Hey, it's way out Wednesday. So I'm gonna go way out.
Let's do it.
It's short. So wrap your mind around this. God sent us Jesus. We killed him. I have a theory that we've been sent multiple individuals to recorrect our trajectory as human beings. Multiple times. Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Malcolm, even Michael Jackson had something to teach us of value. As a people. But they all did. We killed them all. It seems like every time someone who has a gift or a blessing that would be something that would help all of us as a people, we kill them. Somebody might ask, what did Michael have to teach? He had to teach us about children. You listen to a lot of his messages and a lot of his music, some of his songs anyway. He taught us that they don't care about us, but look over here at these kids. And somebody may take that the wrong way. Well, he's a pedo. I don't believe that. I believe that Michael was trying to teach us, look back to the children because they're going to help us understand where our problems are. And then they took them from us.
Michael Jackson, A Man in the Mirror. He had one line on that. I loved this, and I always loved this line. I see the children in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs?
That song's a two-way street, though.
Yeah.
The Man in the Mirror he did his own little autobiography on that, and he was actually talking to somebody in that mirror, but it's not somebody that none of us ever want to talk to.
It's deep. Michael, he was a deep brother. He was deep. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother?
I'd like to go after Hicks, please.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about Rome when it fell, when it was falling, when the people in general sexual mores was dropped, and Nero, or one of those emperors, he built the Colosseums and had the gladiators fight. So the people, he fed them and they drank and they watched this entertainment, and they didn't think about, their mind was off the falling that was happening all around them. So I see the politicians, the athletes of this day and time, right? They get paid this extravagant amount of money. You wonder, like, how do they get paid so much money? Because they are doing the work of abstraction from the real issues. There's more arguments and debates about sports than just the same as religion and politics. It's another divisive thing. Yeah, that's it for that.
Mr. Hicks, let me ask you this question, and that's powerful what you just said, brother. If everybody was set, if the world was coming together and could have a world meeting where they could actually talk about world peace, and they want everybody to tune in to this meeting about world peace, we're gonna have everybody gonna come together, and we're gonna establish world peace. We're gonna have peace among the world. We're gonna stop all this food that's going on. We're gonna stop all of this. But I need y'all to attend this meeting. If that meeting was held during the same time as the Super Bowl, how many attendance would you have?
Oh man, wow! You a question answer. You are. That's your creative ability, boy. You do it. You got to baffle anybody.
To God be the glory.
Know. You know what they did to white people back in the '60s that came out of one of those big think tanks thing, and they value everything. They said, what would happen if there was world peace? It would all fall down. Everything in this world is built off corruption and usury. And if you take that out of the thing, it would fall. It would have to be, you know, when we talk about the spiritual aspect of changing things in this world, with all the traditions of the Muslims waiting for the Mahdi, the Christians waiting for the return of Christ. I mean, the 12th Imam from the Shiite, everybody's waiting for it because they know on some deep level that it's going to take a consciousness, a change, a consciousness of recognizing who we are and how interconnected we are, and that there's no one to blame for the situation but ourselves, each one individual. And that becomes that individual walk in life. Children are watching you. People are watching you. They're listening to you. So if more people get in touch with this source that's not out there in the sky, I don't believe he's floating up there. I think he posited something inside of us that all the structures around us is distracting us from seeking it inside. The kingdom is inside and it's not of this world kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I think in order for me as a person to keep my sanity is that even when I look at these temporal things of the world, I have to go back to a spiritual thing, knowing that behind everything I see is intelligence. It's unexplainable, ineffable. No words can explain it, but it's a reality that's true. And you can only get in touch by going inside. And the only way you know that you touched it is when you begin to feel love. I mean, true love for everything around you, true love for everybody. And when you radiate that, it affects, it's like that's the nuclear bomb that's happening. Individuals becoming connected and being enlightened and walking in a room, and everybody else, energy is changing because of that.
Good deal. Good deal.
I think it was Ryan said we always have these people that, someone said we always have these people that come in our midst with a gift, and we kill them.
Exactly. Badger, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Talking about like the corrupt stuff that's going on in our value system, right? How many of y'all know who the Monsanto Corporation is? Anybody?
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think most of us here do.
Yeah, I do.
So I hope people know that Monsanto, the Monsanto Corp, is the one that runs all the GMO corns and most of the pesticides that we use in America. Now, with me saying that, back in the Obama administration, they put Michael R. Taylor in charge of the FDA, and then they made a bill that protected Monsanto from the local farmers and stuff that were trying to get away from their products because it was proven that their products were harming everything, was harming things, people and plants. Now we move on to 2014. The Bayer Company buys Monsanto, which is a German company, which during the Nazi time, during the Nazis' reign, was using that labor from the camps. So here's these big, huge, corrupt companies that absolutely worked so hard to earn their money, hurting other human beings, using other human beings, given seats of power in our country. People wonder why I have the reason I have the views I have is because I research to find out who are in these seats of power. The FDA says GMO products aren't harmful. Why are there lawsuits that people are winning because science has proven that they are? But why isn't that on media? Why isn't that? You have to actually search for it to find it. So our value system is jacked up. We have people. It's not that I'm against money. I acknowledge that power corrupts, and right now, the powers that are in these seats are corrupt. And we need to figure out how to get them out, and there are ways to get them out.
Okay.
But most of the American society is brainwashed to think you can only vote Democrat or Republican. Obama was a Democrat. Trump, Republican. Neither one of them good. Look at all the things that happened during their administration. Why in the world, when science has proven that this company is harming people, would you put someone in a seat of power like the FDA? That's from a company that hurts people.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Anybody else have anything they want to say on this topic before we move on to the next one?
I didn't know the topic. I thought it was open.
Said yeah. You know what we was just talking about. You know, we ain't got no topic today. Today Wednesday. Today is Way Out Wednesday, brother. We go where we go. We float like the wind. Right. We float like the wind.
I just worried because I know we went to two different places. I know Ryan had brought up the messengers. That's what I he was talking about, messengers. And you know what I'm saying? You know, Hicks had brought up a different thing. So that's why I didn't know you was actually on the topic, you know.
No. We not. We float like the wind. I got a couple of calls. Rico, I know one of them is you, but I got another 256 area code. Who's that 256 area code?
Oh, that's me.
Yes, you, Mr. Hicks?
Yeah, I was on the road. I put myself on the phone. That's me.
Okay, good. Okay, I just want to make sure I hadn't left anybody out. Let's go back to we said we was going to revisit. We was going to revisit the topic that we had yesterday about the police officers, and how how it's operated. So, Captain, we're gonna start it off with you, brother. What's on your heart? Revisiting where we left off yesterday.
First and foremost, let me say this to my brother Ryan, who live in Detroit, and I know many officers of the Detroit Police Department. I trained the 3rd District when I was there under Ralph Garvey, who was then the assistant chief, and Elaboo Cumming was the chief. They lost two officers yesterday, day for yesterday, who are members of the department. I heard Chief White made a statement. These two officers was husband and wife, I imagine, and it was a murder-suicide.
Wow.
And it's sad that they found both of them dead, and their child was still there, unharmed. I don't know the degree of what would make. I don't know who pulled the gun out, but both of them was police officers active with the Detroit Police Department. I don't know who pulled the gun first. They said it was a domestic dispute. But the add on to that, my condolences go to the family and every officer there in Detroit, or any police officer for that matter. I've learned as I train law, and I do this. I still do that. I've learned that law enforcement, they really suffer from the same very ills that the community suffer from. Ryan pretty much knows this. There's a high rate of suicide in law enforcement, very high rate of suicide.
Wow.
There's also a high rate of alcoholism, domestic violence among them. Divorce is high in those in law enforcement. They got a lot of problems too, and sometimes we do not see them as human beings. Sometimes we don't see that they suffer too. And so I just want to put that out there before I make my statement, because I don't want no one to think I'm very insensitive to the plight of those men and women who don that shield. But yesterday I made a statement about when the question was presented to these officers, and it wasn't a shock to me, but if I was to put them in front of an audience, and if I had a town hall meeting and I had 15 police officers, and I would ask them the question, Officer Williams, what are you more loyal to? Are you more loyal to one another, or are you more loyal to the badge and the oath? 9 out of 10, there's a loyalty that they have to each other. You always hear them saying they want to go home, like the people they pull over don't want to go home either. But when you hear that kind of statement, it kind of say to us, who the citizens, I did not pay taxes for you to be more concerned to watch one another's back. I pay taxes that you are to sworn to uphold that oath. Why is that more important? Because in the oath, it's non-discriminatory. In the oath, it has nothing to do but to preserve and to protect the citizens that pay. And the sad thing about that, Raheem, is that they're more concerned about covering down on one another. So when you say the loyalty is to each other, that means if one of them has done something wrong, that loyalty is so strong, they will cover that individual, rather than even if that individual have violated the oath that they took. And that's very frightening. The citizens that pay, all we want is that when you ask, and Ryan can tell you, I ask every one of these officers, just come out the academy, give me your mission statement. Every police department I gave training, the very officer can't even tell me what that department mission statement is. They don't let me ask them to read the oath that they take. They don't even remember the oath that they take. And the sad thing about law enforcement is that when they check a police chief, that's political, because the mayor picks the police chief. And when the police chief is picked by the mayor, then the mayor and the police chief be more concerned about the bidding of the mayor than it is his very own department. So there may have been a police chief prior that police chief take away the policy. And I'm going to end on this note. There is a law that's called the 3-Stop Initiative. Now, I asked every police department out of all the police departments from New York to Boston I've trained. Most of these officers don't know what the 3-Stop Initiative is, but it's on the books. And here's what the three-stop initiative is, Raheem. The three-stop initiative, when a police officer pulls you over, the first thing he's supposed to do is greet you and identify himself. So he's supposed to say, how you doing today, sir? My name is Officer I'm with the Syracuse Police Department. That's initiative number 2.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing he's supposed to do is to tell you why he pulled you over. The very reason why I pulled you over, sir, is because you were going 45 in a 25-mile zone. Can I see your driver's license and registration? That's the three-stop initiative. You greet them, how you doing? You identify who you are in your agency, and then you tell them why. That is not practice, because when you approach the very vehicle and you got your hand on your sidearm, you'll never ask how you doing. First thing they say, mostly in the hood, I can't speak on it, driver's license registration. Well, what that does, that creates confrontation, because now I'm going to ask you, why did you pull me over? Well, in certain cases like that, that's called confrontational. That's called, in some cases, they can call that resistance. I don't have to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
See, because the police officer's mind is, let's put them the sickness up. Not all. Well, what do you think? I just pulled you over for nothing? So now the confrontation begins, because I want to know why you pulled me over.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the challenges that I'm working on when I dealt with law enforcement. As I listened to Cassandra yesterday, well, what are we doing about it? Well, I'm trying in my training to change a culture that has destroyed great men and women who come out of the academy. I'm talking about white, black, young. When they come out the academy, they mean well. They really do. They really want to get out there and get the bad guy. The training is great. But then you put them into a system that is so bent that they don't do it that way. Mm-hmm. We don't do it that way. And by the way, when you get in the car with your FTO, wipe that smile off your face.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we don't get moves. Now, I ain't saying all police officers think that. But when Paul made that statement that, well, we think all white people inherently racist, but you got some white people who think black people inherently are criminals. For real, there's some white people that think all black people, all of them criminals. All of them got to hustle. All of them got to watch all of them. Not all white people think that. But by the disproportionate how we're treated, you kind of say, wow, maybe they don't think that. So the new officer comes out the academy and he gets with the old G who tells them, keep an eye on it. Oh, they slick out here. Oh, yeah, that. So you corrupt the mind of a good officer, and you bent their thinking to think that every black person you pull over here, you got to keep an eye on them because they pimps, players, hoes, prostitutes,
Hey, preacher, now, preacher, we got to go to somebody else now, preacher. Preacher, we got to go to somebody else now.
I'm very passionate about this. I'm sorry. Forgive me, right? I am very passionate. But that's what I wanted to say. I'm sorry.
Good deal, good deal. Ryan, you want to respond to that?
Oh, man. I don't know. I might get long-winded.
Look. We got a 3-minute clause on here. 3 minutes. Everybody keep it within 3 minutes. I'm going to put my timer back on y'all. I'm going to put my timer back out.
I'm just poking that cap. He's right though. I remember going through training, and when I first started, my self-mission statement was to at least help one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go through all this training, and some of it is legal, some of it is I'm gonna use air quotes and say moral, using judgment. But I can remember my first day with my FTO and my sergeant both telling me, you got good intentions. You want to save the world. But most of these people don't want to be saved. So you might as well drop that attitude right now. And I fought it. I fought it for a year. Changing that mindset, keeping that smile on my face, staying positive. But some people, like they said, they just don't want to be saved. And over time, it wears you down. It wears down your mental game, dealing with the same people every day. You got people that go in and out of the facility every few weeks, some of them almost daily. They come in because they get caught, loitering or trespassing, and the judge get mad, send them on their way, and then they back the next day for doing the same thing. And it wears down your mental game. So we're talking about police reform, right?
Yes.
So it needs to be, and it's easier said than done. Bless you. It's easier said than done because there's more people that don't want to be law enforcement than do. And one of the things that I feel in my heart would be a great method of reform is if there was enough, and that's a big if, enough officers out there where you can have that rotation to where vacations and time off was able to easily go back and forth so people aren't getting fatigued dealing with the same mess day in and day out. It would help that mental game. It would help them to not become mentally and physically fatigued to where they start to do practices that we all would agree are unacceptable. When I worked in the jail, some of the old heads that had been there for a long time, those were the same guys rolling through the jail, kicking on doors, get your behind out of bed, it's time to get up, making these dudes' life miserable. Hey, I know it's not toilet paper day, but I'm out. Well, I guess you better borrow somebody's to use your hand. I don't tell you how many times I heard that in the facility. But for me, I never got that far in the fatigue where if somebody needed toilet paper, man, that's a basic human right.
Yeah.
It's not a right, but it's a basic moral thing. Like, get somebody some toilet paper even if you got to roll it off for them.
Yeah.
To wipe they behind, man. It's just that's common courtesy, So we gotta find ways to attract individuals that want to make a change in the world into those positions. But once we get them there, offer them a way to have the mental help available, which it is. Most departments, it's available. You can go see a counselor, you can go see therapy, but you gotta wrap your mind around this. All right, you've been in for 3 months. Let me give you a couple of weeks off and bring somebody else in. You got to have the people to do that, and somehow we got to find a way to attract people to that lifestyle or to that career path, and make it less a stigma of, like we were talking about yesterday, Uncle Tom this, Uncle Tom that, or bring multiple ethnicities in there. And I think it would begin to make a good change.
Good deal. Good deal. We got a lot of different bases. We don't want to touch on this particular topic right now, but I want to do this right here. I'm not gonna do it just yet. I'll do it in just a minute. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I think, man, this most of everything we do is manipulated by perception. And like we since we talking about cops and stuff like that, man, being humane, the golden rule of treating people the way you want to be treated. I think not only do we have to remember they're human, but they have to remember that they're human too. So we have this perception when we see a man in uniform with a badge and a gun, we already know that is authority. That is somebody that could come around and take control of a situation. Go that direction. Take this off. No, go over here. Bag away. They take control of the scene. And we have this perception that they are to protect and serve. How much of that looked like that on that Memphis video? You get what I'm saying? So those perceptions, you come in with this delusion of what a policeman is supposed to be, and then all of a sudden one of them flip on you and they start laughing and being disrespectful and saying stuff, and you like, wait a minute. Are you really abusing your authority? You really a mean, nasty person? I would hate to run across this man in a situation where they're mad at me. Because you find some people that like to abuse it, though. They like to walk around with the chest stick out, but at the same time, now they turn into the bully. You get what I'm saying? And so, you know, we get lost in these perceptions and you know, really have to understand that it's, you know, they need to realize that they're human too. It seems to me that sometimes they forget, but I can't put all of them in that basket, like Cap said. You know, I spoke to an officer last week down in Jacksonville, Florida, LD Lofton. Talked on the phone with that woman for like an hour and a half, man. I mean, I had to tell her to get off the phone. She was not the average officer. She spoke like a human being that understood that certain situations and scenarios wasn't just cookie cut, but you had to look at things as specific. And she understood, and she could actually relate to some of these officers that we're talking about that become so nonchalant, flippant. They don't care how you feel. You get what I'm saying? And it makes me think about that time I was incarcerated for the wrong reason. I didn't do what I was locked up for. And this whole time I was locked up, I was bringing a lot of positivity, teaching people how to read. I mean, you know, just, you know, I brought that energy with me. I wasn't going to participate in that negative stuff. And even with the COs, even when I saw that they wanted to treat me like the regular inmate, they just wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to be, you know, the CO versus the inmate. They ain't supposed to handle me like that. And so I had one came across me, you know, it came time for us to change clothes. And when it was time for you to change clothes, you had to bring your old clothes up and get your new ones. Well, the new ones I got, they didn't fit. Had the wrong sizes on them. So every time I took them back up there, they didn't fit. But they give you a time limit. You better hurry up, better hurry up. And I'm like, no, Simon, I took them up there, they didn't. He walked off. So I had to walk around in my drawers. Matter of fact, I didn't have no drawers. I had a sheet because we had to change our underwear and our clothes that day. So another CO that I thought but now these two black guys, another CO came up, man. And I was like, man, I said, buddy, walked off without giving me some clothes to put on, man. I said, you need to tell them to come on back. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You were taking all that time. I said, look, man, if y'all got this stuff marked wrong and you gave me the wrong clothes, I bought them back up here. Y'all got to give me something to put on. Well, you just got to walk around like that. If you ain't got no clothes, you ain't gonna get nothing to eat. I said, okay, I'll fix that. So I did. I walked around in that sheet all day until somebody else came up and asked what was going on. So I told him, I was like, look, man, I said, that CO didn't care that I didn't have clothes to fit. He told me it was my fault that I didn't get none quick enough, but they didn't have the right sizes on there. And this other one decided he wanted to crack jokes. You know, he wanted to get the laughter of the other inmates. I shut him down. I said, yeah, I said, man, you know, it's crazy that you have all this influence and power to influence people. You have the authority to make things right and be humane. I said, but instead you choose to do something that would make Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and Martin Luther King turn over in their grave. I said, I hope you're a successful, proud Sambo right now. Because what you did was actually something that a racist would love to see you do. All these little jokes you crack trying to get a laugh. You trying to get a laugh out of the shuck and jivers. And I'm a decent person. I ain't gave you a problem one time since I've been here, but just you wasn't even using their logic. So now I'm walking around here in a sheet. And you sitting here acting like it's cool, but you on the outside with the authority to go get me a uniform. Instead, you want to try to play hardball. I said, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, turn on over in their grave right now. I said, you a disgrace to us. That man went and got that uniform. He said, I wouldn't run around now singing Future and 2 Chainz and yelling and acting like a monkey in a zoo. I'm going to break it down to you, brother, because if it weren't for these people, you wouldn't be in that position yourself. But you choose to take advantage of this situation to try to be abusive and not do what's right. They turn it over in their grave. So, I mean, you know, man, these people, man, they get in these positions, man, and they forget that they're human, man. I mean, but, you know, our mistake is that sometimes we look at that badge and that uniform and we hear those titles and we praise them as heroic too. Oh, we need to praise our first responders. Well, did those guys in Memphis look like they needed any praise or any recognition for being getting the in general praise that a first responder get? Because their first response wasn't too good for Tyree Nichols.
Okay. All right, now, preacher. Hold on, preacher. Stay right there. Stay right there. Well, we got some preachers on here today, boy. Y'all, you look at y'all just pushing that 3 minutes.
So, I've been gone for about 35, 40 minutes now. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get my 2 chances back now.
So you're going to make up your time. Okay. I see how we're doing this. Okay. Willa!
Raheem, good morning.
Good morning, Willa. How you doing this morning? Hey, Willa, you know what?
I am doing awesome.
Let me tell you something before you say that, and I'm glad you're doing awesome. But when I called your name, now Mr. Hicks had his whole camera off. But when I said Willa, that joker turned that camera back on. Boy, he loved that. What's on your heart, Willa? Talk to me. We're talking about police officers.
Right. You know, if we still talking about what we was talking about yesterday, you know, I had wanted to say, you know, we got police officers in our family. We got quite a few police officers, and I pray for them every day. Do you look at this world and you see what they have to go through? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to look at the bad police officer and then say the good ones are just like the bad, because no, they do deserve to go out there, because some of them are brave to sacrifice their lives and their families to supposedly protect and enforce the law. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, if we were better as people, then some of these things wouldn't have to happen. Because I think it was Bishop that said that there's bad in everything. Yeah. Don't allow and get the distraction that those who are brave enough to go out there and take that chance to protect you on that wall, just should say thank you. You know, that's what it makes me angry sometimes, how we here in Chicago, when someone is killed, what they do is they come out then and they start marching. Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. But where are you before that? You know, because it wasn't a white person or Asian person that killed your son or your daughter, your children. It was another black person. Mm-hmm. And then because it was a police officer, you now want to march. Come on, y'all. We got to understand that we have to go to the root cause of why these things are happening and stop it there. I pray for my kid's mother. She's a police officer, and she has a hard time, not only with the public, but when she go into that place where men say she shouldn't be, they even give her a hard time. So there I am. Wow. It's so much that we have to look at that's under this umbrella, and we can't fix it. Just, you know, we're bringing awareness, but we can't fix it by ourselves. It's going to take a group. Mm-hmm. But I pray every day for the protection of my Juana and John, and I can go on and on because they're taking a chance with their lives. Mm-hmm. And I pray every day they come back home.
Absolutely.
And that's what's in my heart right now.
Good deal. Joseph, talk to me, brother. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Let me get this mute off. Good morning, Morning Glow family.
Hey, good morning to you, brother. What's on your heart?
Topic.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I was listening, man, and taking it all in, man. Powerful comments being made. You know, we're not operating in a vacuum. Chicago didn't just happen overnight. It's a history, and when we teach our young people the history properly, and when we get together with grown folks and organize and begin to reflect and look at what we could do to undo some of the things that we are not happy with, we can do it. Now, we could just sit and cry about the problem. I fear that too many times we just talk about what the problem is, as opposed to what the solution is. And I think we need to focus more on the solution. Because, I mean, it's Michelle Alexander, the author of The New Jim Crow. She talked about the prison population going from 370,000 in the 80s to 2 million at the end of Ronald Reagan's 8-year term. And then she said today there's 7 million people either incarcerated or entangled with the judicial system. And of course, a disproportionate number is African Americans. She talks about this in that book. In fact, her book was so powerful that Mr. Obama responded with policy. That's what happens when you get to talking and when you get to explaining how we got here. So there are solutions, and I think we should be focusing a lot of our energy on getting to the solution. We're not helpless people. We're not inferior. We're capable of leading and governing ourselves. We're capable of that. There are others who want us to think that we're not. They want to condition us to feel like losers, victims. We are intelligent people. Man, when you look back at our history, you see the great things that we've done, even in spite of the overwhelming attacks from our enemies, the forces that conspire to try to suppress us. At first, they didn't want us to be educated when we were slaves in this country. So they kept us from learning. When we did break through and learn, they want to try to regulate what we learn, just like they're trying to do today. So we must be a very powerful people. Somebody is afraid of us. I think we need to focus on that a little while. Why are they afraid of us? Because we are not inferior. We're not victims. Hell, we're dangerous when we wake up. If we wake up, when we wake up, it's gonna be on and popping. I'm just happy to hear us talking like we're talking now.
Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
There you go. Good deal. Let me go to K with an E. K with an E. What's on your heart, sis? Talk to me. Miss Hicks, coming to you next.
Don't say it. I'm off of mute.
I'm about to get you. Talk to me.
I was just listening though. It's like he said, when we all wake up, because some of us have woke up. When we all wake up, it's gonna be on and popping. That's real. That's all it takes too, is to wake up. And like Will said, I mean, they want to march, but they kill each other every day. Literally. They kill each other every day. I just had to take my granddaughter, had my daughter take her out of school because some little girl said she wanted to fight her because she don't like her personality. I said, what if she's at her locker and that little girl walks up to her, or another little girl, they just start stabbing her because of her personality. I said, something needs to be done with her and her mama. It's crazy.
Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking. Time for thinking
Right,
ahead.
talk shows like this don't help wake them up though, so we got to keep going strong.
Mr. Hicks, I had a rhythm going there, brother. I had a rhythm going, Mr. Hicks. You heard me, boy. I finally got the rhythm right.
Sounds
got
so
the rhythm
too.
No more backwards thinking. Time for thinking ahead. God almighty. Go ahead. Don't hold your head, Rico. What you doing, brother? No.
You might have got the rhythm, but the tone.
Here's a
sound.
Here's a sample. My turn. Here's a sample. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that there's just too little of.
Miss Hicks, we need to start a band, brother. We need to start.
I think we got the ingredients of
a background for Raheem or something. Y'all on the same tune.
Man, we need to start a band, brother. Hey, the name of my band gonna be Those Singles. Those Singles. That's the name of my band, Those Singles. That's right, brother. Go ahead. Those Singles. Not singers, singles. It's different. Yes, we sang it. Go ahead, Mr. Hicks.
Well, I was thinking it as I hear the energy of the conversation, and I understand and feel it about the divisions and stuff that's going on. But in some of my studies, I found out that the first case in the first case about slavery was offered up by a black man who had slaves, and that was the first opinion that said they made perpetual slavery. And at the time of the Civil War, there was over 3,000, maybe 4,000 black slave owners that went and fought with the Confederacy for slavery. I think that when we start viewing slavery as a them against us thing, we don't recognize that it was an energy and spirit inside people. They want to make everybody a slave. You know, even now, it's not like a persecution that's coming down on us particularly. It's coming down on everybody. They've tried to make everybody take this shot. They locked this whole thing down, and now we're finding out that it was all a game. It was all a hoax of making money, selling masks and selling drugs and counseling people that had alternative treatments and had alternative research.
Mm-hmm.
So and the thing that really strikes me now, this last killing where those brothers killed that guy down there, why was it there was not the same outcry as with George Floyd? Why is it statistically that all of these chaos is happening in Democratic-run cities with black people in leadership? So again, not the others, not seeing people as others, seeing the connection that we have and how everything is connected to us. And that when we look out at what's going on wrong, we got to look at the mirror and look at ourselves. I think, you know, Rico said something about a couple months ago that stuck with me, right? He said this here, and it sounds so crazy. Stop participating. And that's rough, ain't it? That takes a real individually stop participating in the madness.
Mr. Hicks, just for the clarity of the conversation that we're having right now, or am I hearing you say is a piece of what you're saying that we're the problem?
Yes. Scripture says this here. It says that our leaders that we have ahead of us a reflection of the morality and the conscience of the people that's in rule. It's like when Hitler gave his speeches, he just threw out speeches like comedians do. They go try jokes and they find out what make people laugh. Then they build themselves a resume, and then they have a act. Hitler would say things, and when people would get riled, he said, "Oh man," he would go some more that way. Same thing that Trump does, that Trump did. But the only thing, and I hear, and I feel it. You know, my position since you met me is about fairness. I'm saying, why is it there's two stages of justice? Why is it some people get punished for breaking the law and others get away? And now with a different, but it's a two-side thing. But one side, honestly, more than the other. That's just the truth of it. Who are the people that want these children to be taught this stuff in school? Who are the people that want everybody around to accept rethinking and reclassifying human beings, male and female? Who is the power that pushed that? Who is the power that pushed? Not. It's like Rico said this here. They use birth control and abortions as a prophylaxis. They lay down and they have sex and they know in the end, if I get pregnant, I can abort this thing. And even in marriages, a wife can go get an abortion and the husband never know.
That's brother. You put a lot out there, man, and you actually left me about 50 different alleys I could select which one I want to go down. But I'm gonna keep this thing moving. Leonard, what's on your you did. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, Raheem, it's a pretty good conversation. Brother Wheeler, usually I just enjoy his perspective on things because I know what he's about, and we've had conversations before, and his dedication to the movement and what he does. as representing organization.
Mm-hmm.
Not just a bunch of people wanting everything else, but organizations with plans on how to get things done and move forward. Solution seeking is the best thing that I enjoy. I don't do pity party.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into that. I'm not going to sit around a bunch of people who think they slaves. It's not my thing. What are we going to do to make it better? What you going to do? We're not going to sit around and point the finger at somebody else. We're not going to make up lies that we enjoy as if they are proper assessments for our problems. The reason why most things fail is because they have nothing to do with the issue. They have nothing at all to do with the issue. And this is why you have to bring in professionals sometimes to get you to even sit and have a rational conversation to arrive at a desired outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Say, for instance, you have a lot of people, well, why this and why that? You'd be the same person sitting on that board raising hell about something you didn't like. So let's not act as if this is such an estranged behavior, because it's not. It's a dynamic that happens in all types of groups that are trying to move forward, set policy, and things of that nature. Some policies that you set have to be revisited based on the dynamics. If things change, the demographics, you have some people that are very forward thinking. So they plan much further ahead of you to get things accomplished. You know why you don't have as much outcry about the two different things? Because one protest is about government-sanctioned murder of individuals. The other is about people with personal issues who have problems resolving them. Two completely different issues. You're not going to figure out a solution to crime amongst brothers in the community by not focusing on what the police are doing to them. Two different issues. It's not either or, it's both. Those that want to dedicate themselves to this should do that. I've sat at a group, I've sat at groups that have had to do things and come up with solutions for free. And I've sat with groups who have budgets. You got some people, well, if I can't get 2,000 at the protest, then it ain't worth it. To you, it's not worth it. But I can take 10 people and make it worth it. Mm-hmm. So different people do different things. This notion where you sitting around waiting on somebody else to do this, that, or the other, it's foolishness. You have to get involved. And talking about it ain't fixing it. Mm-hmm. So say, for instance, you need a task force. What does a task force do? They action items. If we're going down and speaking to representatives and we're trying to get them to understand what's going on in the community, we'll go down there and here's a line we need in a bill that you need to put on the floor. Mm-hmm. I don't care how you feel about nothing. How you feel is not power. So your feelings you sitting around having don't get nothing accomplished unless they're put into a strategy. Mm-hmm. And you will find out very clearly. You think that them people that look like you agree with you. I've told many of you already, the thing that we have in common the most is we have the same enemy.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I don't necessarily I may not want to be married. I may not want kids. I may not want certain things that you enjoy. There are some people that used to think about this ignorance. People who thought you should only marry people the same color as you.
Wow. Wow. Stay right there. Stay right there, preacher. Exactly. Stay right there, preacher. Let me keep this thing going. Badger, what's on your heart?
I was looking up the charges on the police officers in those two situations. And the 5 men got second-degree murder charges. The George Floyd, the officer on his neck, got unintentional second-degree, third-degree, and I think it was second manslaughter. And then the cops that were around them also got charged. So 4 people got charged for the George Floyd, at least from what I found so far. So there are ways to hold those people responsible. And the part that I've been sitting here thinking is, you know, kind of what Willa said about the differences in when people are gathering. You know, that's something I'm still wrapping my head around, because I always assumed it was to the same degree. But that's assumption. So I'm learning today that people coming together to fight towards certain things is a little skewed, if it's okay for me to say that. It's kind of wild, because like you know, I shared before, the area that I lived in was initially a dry county, and then all of a sudden alcohol was available to everybody around here, and everything went up. Insurance, crime, you name it, just by becoming a wet county. It doubled, tripled the amount of crime. And so now, where there was less drunk people to deal with, now it's quadrupled so much that now the police officers are having to worry about someone being drunk and carrying a gun. Because I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
About 1 out of every 3 people probably have a gun on them. And that's a terrifying thought to me, to have to be I'm just going to focus on the good police officer, right? The amount of stress of knowing that every time you pull somebody over, they're going to have a gun on them.
Wow.
Like, if you let that sink in, and then you go into the ones that have that toxic thought process of hate or judgment, and then so you have a police officer like that, and then you add in the stress of knowing anybody can have a gun here. Like, that's, as a civilian, what in the world would motivate me to want to go get a position like that, knowing that there is a 80% chance that the person I pull over, or the domestic violence I'm going to, has the potential to shoot me?
Good deal. We're running out of time. So I want to round it up. Paul, I see we got Paul with us this morning. Paul, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. Getting ready to work and all. I guess my comment is, you know, we'll talk about reform and all that. I guess the original topic was about the police. And when we had our meeting, I don't know, about a year ago, and I remember what Captain Dennis was talking about when he talked about talking to police and, you know, training police on de-escalation and stuff like that. Something I learned, I don't know, some of the pop across, I'm sure some people know about it, is verbal judo. This here's a guy who's a professor. I don't remember exactly what field, but then I guess he got bored in that and became a police officer for a while. And then he wrote a book about de-escalation strategies. And I think these are really important, so I'll just say them. There are 5 of them. These are concepts. This is the 5 universal truths of human interaction, and I think it applies to anyone. It applies to families, businesses, classrooms, you name it, any workplace. Number 1, people feel the need to be respected. Number 2, people would rather be asked than be told. Number 3, people have a desire to know why. Number 4, people prefer to have options over threats. 5, people want to have a second chance. So, I mean, that's not easy to do all that, especially probably if you're a police officer and you're dealing with somebody who's very hostile and aggressive and possibly has, you know, impaired on drugs, mental impairment, all kinds of stuff like that. But you know, I think these are universal concepts, and you know, some of these police departments seem to not encourage these types of thoughts. They seem to encourage a warrior mentality, like, you know, I'm gonna kick out. Oh, sorry.
Hey.
I know we. I'm gonna. Yeah, I know. You know, just like the gun or the muscles and all that stuff is their primary. They're just itching. Some of these guys are just itching to inflict violence. I don't think it's a large number, but it's too many. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I think these are universal concepts. You know, you should not be going into law enforcement if you are a racist or you hate people, or you have a mental impairment of some kind, such as racism. You know, you need to care about people. You know, you need to go out there and, man, these people, whoever you're dealing with, this person this is a bad day for them, and I want to help them.
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot them. I don't want to beat them up. I don't want to terrorize them.
Good deal. Good deal. That's true. Captain, what's on your heart, sir?
Man, Paul, that was great. You're absolutely right. That was one of the trainings they gave in New York. It was called verbal judo. And that what you just presented was absolutely great. Now, I want to say this to your family because we want to deal with solutions. I just want to suggest, I want to give you my opinion on what I believe this can be. I believe that we as a Black community, we must teach our young people to respect authority. It ain't got nothing to do with the police. The police is not social workers. It is not their job to see if your child home at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Especially I'm talking to Sister Willa, because, you know, we know that they off the hook in Chicago. But what can we do as a community? Yes, we got to teach our young people to respect authority. You don't challenge authority. You got to respect the authority of your parents. You got to respect the authority of the teachers. You got to respect it. Our young people don't respect authority. That's our job. If we focus more as a community to teach our young people to respect authority, then the authority don't have to worry about have to take it to the next level. I do believe law enforcement have an obligation as well. As you know, people like to be asked instead of being told. I like that. They have to understand you're going into a community that has social problems. We did not create the social problems. Unemployment, lack of jobs. These are real social problems. So if we want to deal with how we're going to solve the problem with police and community, listen here, Black folks, let's deal with the social problems they created. If we work as a community to get our young people to respect the authority, then I bet you we eliminate a lot of that conflict, because there are some parents that kind of make the child think they have the right to challenge authority. No, you don't have to challenge authority. Where you get that from? Well, when they pull you over, ask them. No, you listen and be very kind how you talk. Now, that starts. So I do believe we can't change it. And at the same time, the police have to understand that you are not a social worker, and all we ask for you to do is what we pay you to do, is to uphold that oath. So we expect from you, Mr. Officer, integrity. We expect from you transparency. We didn't get the cameras to protect you. The very reason why they got cameras is that we want to be transparent, making sure you right and exact how you deal with us. That's the reason why we got the cameras. Transparent, and then you turn them off. So they have an obligation. Integrity, transparency, honesty, and trustworthy is all we ask from these police officers, and be professional. At the same time, protect yourself. Protect yourself. But we, Black folks, we got to deal with our own children, and we got to deal with each other. Period. That's my opinion.
And that's what's on my heart, Raheem. Oh, he ain't said time. We're gonna go in this order right here because I ain't heard from my sister in a minute. Zamar, are you there?
Yeah, barely, but yeah.
We're gonna go Zamar, Rico, then we're gonna go Ryan, because Ryan had his hand up as well. What's on your heart, sis?
Not a darn thing.
Her pillow.
That's about the size of it.
I would say I would leave you all on a light note, but you're gonna go to other people. But I don't really have anything to add to this per se.
This TV radio now. This TV radio comments are very important. You know, we can't get ratings if we ain't got people talking.
We're gonna kick you off the team.
I know he is. I know. Okay, well, I'll leave y'all with this. All right. I just found out yesterday that my baby girl is having a girl.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh.
So that's my fourth grandbaby on the way. So yeah.
Here comes some spoiling. Here comes some spoiling. The spoiling is about to happen.
Spoiling my wallet.
Exactly. Rico, what's up, y'all? Congratulations on that. Congratulations, Rico.
I agree with what Cap was saying, but I think going back to trying to make sure that the cops remember that they're human. We do have things that sometimes influence cops to say, you know what, forget this. I'm gonna take this money. I saw a video the other day of these cops stealing this man's wallet, watches and money out of his closet while they were searching the house. And he wanted to come down because he was like, man, y'all shouldn't be in my closet like that. And he heard them whispering. And they were doing everything they could to keep him out that room, man. And that woman was stuffing the watches, expensive watches in her jacket. If I ain't mistaken, Tyree Nichols was complying. Actually, the guy they confronted before him, he was complying too. And they finally said, oh, we were just playing. But he was in fear for his life. We have this phrase called "What would Jesus do?" And I think if you could find a way to implement that mindset into everybody, police officers, judges, politicians, everybody, parents, with every decision that they make, if they didn't want to listen to it because it was about Jesus, still find another way to get them to think about things in that way, then we would have people waking up. Those people, like those cops or whatever, they abuse their authority, but we do have to understand that, man, those people see some of the most traumatizing, extremely traumatizing things on a consistent basis every day. Mentally, they drain. Matter of fact, when I was gone, I just saw a car flipped over on his hood, on the roof. And it was 4 police officers out there. Ambulance hadn't even made it yet. Now they have to keep control of that situation and maintain what's going on, but at the same time, get over wow, this car's flipped over. Wow, he got a hole in his head. Oh my God, I just walked in this house and they done killed all the children. Oh my God, they got to keep their composure.
Yeah.
They got a job to do. They can't react. They can't be human. So they need therapy for that type of stuff, man, because over a length of time, you can become immune and desensitized to that. And start looking at things that you really should care about with more compassion in the heart as just, there goes somebody else crying about another dead child. The drill music, go cap another one. And so we have to think about that. But I think about what Joseph said about waking up, man. And Captain Dennis hit on it so much earlier. We know basketball players get paid more than teachers and police officers.
Yeah.
But we know what police officers have to go through. That extreme trauma daily. They have to go through all these dysfunctional behaviors and all these dysfunctional people. They have to go through all this stuff every time they come to work. But they don't get paid the same as athletes. Teachers don't get paid the same as athletes, but they have to deal with all these different kids from these different backgrounds. And some of these kids come from the same backgrounds too.
Yeah.
And we know that those athletes are not as much as a priority as our teachers and our first responders. But I guarantee you, if you had to make a choice to watch Michael Jordan, or if you had a choice to have a discussion about who was the GOAT, people would probably rather talk about that than that child is slipping through the cracks of the school system and the CPS. You get what I'm saying? So once again, we participate and we contributed, and we know that these priorities are all out of place. Our value system, Badger hit it on the head. And really and truly, that's really all boiled down to our purpose and our priority and what people have placed as a priority. I mean, I think once we will, when you want to, if you really want to understand what Joseph mean by waking up, I think that's waking up. And when you sit back and say to yourself, you know what, man, I ain't fixing to buy a ticket to go watch that football game or that basketball game. Yeah, I'll watch it on TV.
Yep.
But I am not fixing to contribute to paying this person this enormous amount of money just for entertaining me and making me feel good to see them run and jump and dunk or crack jokes or sing, when this school teacher that needs to educate our children or these police officers that need therapy and better pay because they're going out here dealing with this stuff that society doesn't have to deal with, isn't getting paid that amount. Now I'm gonna focus on this right here, and you can have the GOAT discussion.
Exactly, right? Yeah, we target the wrong areas a lot of the time. We target the wrong areas, and that's exactly what Rico is telling us, man. We target the wrong areas. We focus on the wrong thing. Ryan, what's on your
heart? Two things real quick. So Rico came in and took me down a rabbit trail. So now he said, what would Jesus do? Well, remember, sometimes Jesus came out of pocket, started flipping tables and stuff. So everybody can have a breakdown, right? So, okay, I just thought I'd throw that out there. But, and forgive me if somebody feel this is offensive or out of pocket, but, everybody know where I'm at. So most of the guys that come to me looking for work is black. And I'm going to go right off of what I believe it was Cap was talking about, respecting authority. And these guys come in, these young cats, and I take them through, and when I'm doing an interview, and I will show them every aspect of the job to make sure that they fully understand what's required of them before they come in. And it's going to sound like a power trip, and maybe it is, but before they enter my domain and start messing with my money, because all of that stuff is on my shoulders. At the end of the day, I need them to grasp completely what's going on in here. It's not rocket science, the job that I do, but it's very physically demanding. Like I handle sometimes up to 75,000 pounds of tires every day. And that's not with a machine. That's with these machines right here. Okay. Hands on only. So I go through and I explain to these guys things, and I don't treat them any different than anybody else, right? And yeah, I can do this. I can do this. Yeah, I'm good. This looks awesome. I'm gonna pack on some weight, get swollen here doing this. I'm good. I hire them in, and they make a mistake, and I come to them just like I come to you guys every time I'm on here, and I show them the mistake that they made and how to correct it, and they want to get in my face and start threatening me, and I got to tell them, like, I'm old for a reason, young buck. I done made it. You want to get in my face, we go outside and see what's what. I'm like, I'm not about that. I'm treating you with respect, and you want to throw it back in my face and act all kind of way because whatever going on outside of here got you feeling some kind of way. This is not the streets. This is work. You got to come in here and expect that if you make a mistake, I got to correct you. So if this is the response I'm going to get every time I have to correct you on something, go ahead and see that door. And Cap is right on the money. Some of these guys out here, they got no structure. They got no consistency. Nobody teaching them nothing out here. So when a cop pull them over, like Cap was saying, they acting all kind of way. Hey, could you put your hands on the steering wheel for me, please? No, I ain't got to do all that. Yes, you do. He was asked to do that. And he didn't say it being, like he finna do some kind of harm to you. He just asking you to follow the simple directions. And because you saw what your buddies out here is doing, and you don't want to follow those orders, now things finna get out of pocket. And that's not every case, right? I'm not saying that's every case, because some people would do it the wrong way. Even the cops do it the wrong way. But those are things that we have to instill in our communities. Hey, just follow the directions. You ain't got to do all this with your hands. And I came up the same way most of y'all did. Somebody got their hands in my face, waving them all around. I'm gonna feel some kind of way about that. Just be calm. You know what I mean?
It's good. It's good. I was good to say, preacher. Come on, we got to get out of here, preacher. I was good. Yes, yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So I just wanted to add to what has been said. Definitely, we have a lack of respect for authority going on with our young people, especially nowadays. I mean, we see it. I see it all the time when I'm on set. You know, they say the worst stuff. I mean, older people, me 60 and older, we can be right there sitting and they will use the foulest language, and if you don't expect, authority or adults or you don't respect nobody. You have no respect for anybody. Your life, how do you expect to achieve anything? And we have so much of that with our young people. It's ridiculous. And we have to take the stand against that kind of behavior. And if we don't try to correct them, who's going to do it? I love what Cap is doing with his program, going in there and talking to these young people, because we can't ask anybody else to do it. You need to do it. We need to do it.
Absolutely. Got to make a difference. And that's why I'm gonna pull it back up. I don't know if I even have it on here right now. Let me see. I don't think it's on. I got to pull it back up on this computer. That I Stand With You challenge. I'm still getting people signed up for that I Stand With You challenge, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow because it's already 15 after. But Rico, before I do that, Rico, anybody else have anything they want to say before we get out of here, real quickly?
I do.
Real quickly, Badger. Real quickly. Go ahead.
I hope anyone listening today truly takes the depth of what we were talking about. Of our responsibility to make sure that our kids are taught respect and morality. There are evil people in this world. However, there are also a bunch of good people in this world.
Absolutely.
And they are police officers, they are doctors, they are teachers and counselors. I'm a firm believer that teachers and police officers should have free health care. And it's an unfortunate truth of these people that are in these positions are dealing with a society that needs help.
Good deal. Good deal.
And we are responsible for it.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Real quickly. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir? Turn the doggone camera. Look at that. Look at that. What's somebody look at there?
Before I say it with these 3 words, with respect, a righteous purpose, and a moral standard, we can do these things.
Absolutely.
With that being said, if you missed today's show and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Yeah.
Make me laugh. I like that. Thank you.
Boy, Rico, you hit that one, brother.
I'm going to create me a time zone instant standard.
Good deal. Let me go to Willa.
Raheem, come on, let's go.
Hold on.
Let's go, Raheem.
I got to say it one more time. for Mr. Hicks. Willa. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Raheem?
Yes.
I am so ready to receive God's word. Come on, Raheem. Let's go.
Well, Willa, I ain't got one more thing to say. Let's go.
Let's go. Come on, y'all. Go with me to the throne this morning with humble hearts. I'm going to pray this morning and ask God to commune with us with patience and humility, that we may be an instrument to help remake this world. Father, we need you in a mighty way. We need you, Lord. The enemy wants to reveal himself, Lord. But Father, we know that you plan and orchestrate the things and the purpose in our lives. So, Father, I'm asking you today, I'm praying and asking you, Lord, to show up and show out. I want to thank you, Lord, for giving me this opportunity, using me through the Holy Spirit to deliver your message. I thank you, Lord, for all those things that you do in our lives. You said that all things work together. That's the good and the bad. Father, we love you and honor. We praise you this morning, and we're giving you the glory. We thank you for your word, Lord. Father, you said it in your word that to cast all our cares upon you, and we're casting them upon you this morning, Lord, because we need you in a mighty way.
Yes, Lord.
We trust you, Lord, and we trust no man. But we stand on your promises that you said that you will be a comforter in our lives, Lord. And we're looking for comfort and peace in this evil and wicked world. We trust you, Lord. And we're praying and asking you to answer our prayer this morning, Lord. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to continually bestow on us that mercy and grace, Lord, even when we don't deserve it, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
I'm asking you, oh Lord, to continually give us the power, Lord, to be discerning around the evilness that comes in our lives, Lord, protecting our children, our household, our men, our women, our boys, and our girls. We love you, Lord. And I'm asking you to touch each and every last one that's on this land, Lord. I'm asking you to continually bless Raheem and his family. Thank you for DKM Media Radio, delivering your message, keeping it successful. In Jesus' name. Lord, I just thank you, Lord. There's none like you, Lord. Seeking you, Lord. We thank you, and we give you praise, honor, and glory. Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. I thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen. Only thing I can say after that is amen. That's all I can say after that. It's been a great broadcast, y'all. This is Way Out West. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:20. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Then we shine some of this out of you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. And please, please, please be blessed. Talk to you tomorrow. God say the same. Have a great day. Give somebody some love and truth today. They would appreciate it. And I'm sure that you will as well. Have a great day. Love you.